All right, let's try this again. We are now live.
Okay, take two. Welcome, everybody, to a very special town hall meeting of Infinity Evolved release date. This is going to be super exciting. I hope you guys are excited. Joining me today is T-Fox and Slowpoke. Hopefully, everybody can hear me now.
Sure,
Yeah. Let's just make sure everybody can hear. It's showing up on my mixer that you guys are talking.
Yeah, we've got ads to go through.
We do have to go through the ad. Yeah, the wait for the ads. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, everybody's saying all good, so
All
they
good
can
in
hear
the
you.
ears.
Yes,
Perfect, guys.
So we'll do introductions again. We'll kind of start over because
we'll give it a minute.
T-Fox Derp. T-Fox Derp.
Are we done? There we go. It's all should be good now.
I think everybody should be up and running. It's about 60 seconds for that commercial to run. You know, of all those things.
Yeah.
Audio is good. I think we're getting a lot of good thumbs up right now. So welcome, everybody. I am Raj. If anybody does not know who I am, joining me today is T-Fox and Slowpoke for the huge Infinity Evolved release party, guys. This is a great day, by the way. Long time in the making, for sure.
Yes, I'm super excited.
Absolutely. I think we should jump right into it, though. Really jump right into it. So I think we should go into a lot of the stuff of like how much testing really has gone involved with this, T-Fox.
Oh man, it's insane. Like, so we have FTB utilities on the server now, so it gives us some really interesting stats. And obviously, this didn't track my dev time, but I personally have about 300 hours of dev time since June into Infinity Evolved. And then I've had some people help. Snowshock did the magic scripts. He's been working a lot on those the past about 3 weeks. He's got almost 50 to 60 hours into just those. And then I've got a few other people that have countless hours in. We've probably 350 plus hours of dev time. And then we put this pack on Infinity or on FTB1, which is our private play server, to go ahead and get it tested. And we put that on exactly 30 days ago from today. So the beginning of October. And we have over 2,500 hours of online testing time by 25 people, which is
just within those 30 days.
Yeah, just within those 30 days. It's insane.
And how many versions have we gone through?
We are on version 23 of our
23 revisions.
Of our dev instance of Infinity Evolved.
In 30 days, 23.
Yeah, so that's almost a version a day. And you know, usually on the weekends we wouldn't update because I wasn't around, but there were some days where you guys can remember we had to update like 4 times in a day. You know,
yes, absolutely.
It was kind of a pain. Like, I'm really excited to get the server on the same version everybody else will be playing on today, so I don't have to give all you guys those custom files. It's just a simple hit the play button and join the server and play. And we can actually all play on the server today and not have to just sit there and test everything. Would be really a relaxing change
I
for all
agree.
of us.
I can't wait to actually like beautify the base a little bit rather than
yeah, exactly.
running through the back. So yeah, very good, very good. It's a lot of testing has gone into this pack for sure. Can we explain a little bit to those maybe who don't know, what is Infinity Evolved? Like, how is this different from normal Infinity?
Okay, so Infinity Evolved introduces the concept of game modes. Not like vanilla game modes where you change your easy, normal, hard difficulty of mobs and that's still all present. But our new types of game modes are like what we like to call script packs. And they add Mind Tweaker and Mod Tweaker custom scripts. So in Infinity Evolved, we have 2 script packs. We have Normal and we have Expert. Normal is exactly the Infinity as you know it right now. Like if you were to go play the latest version of Infinity, what is it, 1.12.4, it's what Normal is in 2.0.0. 2.0.0 does include a couple neat mods, which we'll get into in a little bit. But the expert mode is what's completely changed the way Infinity is. And it basically, it increases the difficulty of the recipes, the progression, you know, but one thing it does not touch is it doesn't touch like mob difficulty. Like, you know, a creeper's still going to do the same amount of damage in normal as it will be Infinity. That's going to determine your vanilla game mode if you're in easy, normal, or hard. But all your scripting changes, and the awesome thing about it, it's all done on the fly. So if you want to, you know, all worlds are created in normal. If you want to go in expert mode, it's a simple command you run, which is will be in the description of the mod pack on our launcher and curse. And then if you ever want to change back, boom, you just go right back to normal, and you don't even need to reboot your client. Servers can be in expert mode. When you join the server, your client will automatically go in expert mode. You cannot override that as a player, so the server op is the only one that can change that. And then if you want to disconnect and go play on another server that's in normal, you do it. You don't have to ever restart your clients. Really amazing. We hope to bring this feature into maybe some more packs in the future. These mods that we're using to make this happen are available to the public. As soon as this pack release, you'll be able to get those mods on Curse. If you guys make third-party packs, you're more than welcome to use these mods, and I'd love to see what the community comes up with. I think it's going to be really, really neat to have the ability to have multiple different script packs all within the same mod pack. It's really, really cool.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be like an amazing thing. I'm actually kind of curious myself of what the community is going to do with those the new mods that are there.
I'm, and it's the thing is the community really does the third-party content's really impressive. There's quite a few really good mod packs. And I think they'll do some amazing things. I think you'll see packs with like 5 or 6 different modes. We just have normal and expert right now, but we were even talking about maybe down the road doing an easy mode. It's kind of hard to make Infinity any easier because it is a default pack. But they're
going the other way.
It's kind of like the possibilities are unlimited at that point.
So I guess that comes into the next question. Kind of leads in pretty nicely. So say I have an existing world right now, and I'm going to go to expert mode, but I don't want to reset. We've done a lot of work on the server, but we want to try this out. Is it required to have a reset?
No. When you go to 2.0.0, I will say there is one thing: is Biomes of Plenty has been outdated for 6 months on Infinity. The reason I have never updated because it does change some of the biome mapping. It's a very, very rare issue. It happens to some, it doesn't. I figured now would be the time to go ahead and get the new version that fixes a lot of previous issues. Like if you guys are familiar with the Twilight Forest biomes being in the overworld, that is now fixed. There is a possibility you might get some ugly chunk borders in your existing worlds. However, it will not break them. But like I said, I figured now is the time to go ahead and get that pushed in. If you want to continue on an old world, you can. You can go right into expert mode. It will completely be compatible. However, I do suggest that if you are going to play in expert mode, to start fresh in a new world, because the way the progression has been changed, if you already have machines and existing infrastructure, it's really going to break the way that progression was intended. If you don't have any interest in expert mode and you want to continue in normal, you just simply update to 2.0.0 when it comes out, and you can just continue playing. You won't, everything's in normal by default. You have to run the command to put it in expert. So for existing players, existing worlds, everything's 100% compatible. But I will emphasize that if you do plan on playing expert, I highly suggest a world reset. I really do. And, Infinity's 8 months old now, and there's a lot of big servers. I'm sure, it's probably time for a lot of people to go ahead and start fresh, and now is the perfect time. It really is.
So not required, but probably very highly recommended.
Yes, and I did put that in the description. It's not required. We usually reserve that very first number of the version for world resets. But let's be honest, in the way Minecraft has evolved, modded Minecraft, world resets are kind of a thing in the past for professional mod packs, like the way we do them at FTB. So I think we would never really need that first number. So we decided to go ahead and use it in this case, but it does not force a world reset by no means.
Oh, very good, very good. And I guess it's time for Slow to chime in on this one a little bit. So this whole evolve thing, how do you feel about it? Do you feel this is a welcome change?
I feel this is an important change. I think it's like, the work that T-Fox and the whole gang have done with regards to all the recipe changes and the tuning, they're awesome. And I've been playing them with you guys for the last 2 weeks, and I'm loving them. But alongside that, what FTB Utilities is going to bring, and the new server tools, which I think a lot of people have missed since the days when Forge and Bucket were sort of cross-compatible, and being able to reintroduce those back into the community, and us being able to give it to the community. I think, as T-Fox said before, like the fact that we are literally saying, hey, take it. Do what you want with it. We're putting it under, I think it's the MIT license, is it, T-Fox?
It is the MIT license. All the mods that are under our name, they are released under the FTB account, but the developers, which are listed as contributors on the mod, they get 100% of the profit, of the recurse reward points. So I just wanted to make that clear. FTB Lib is a mod that allows compatibility, and that one is blacklisted from reward points. But yeah, it's definitely something we've needed. And it's really nice because it's the first time ever that FTB will have something like protection support, and will actually support the mod, which we've never done in the past because it's always had to be done via Bucket Forge or something along those lines, which the mod developers don't support. This is simply just a Forge mod that goes in, which it's amazing.
So what we're going to be like, so the thing we're going to be looking for now is, and me and T-Fox and that have spent a lot of time talking about this, is like, we don't know still how this is going to go down in the community. Like, we really do not know how the community is going to take to expert. I'm sure a lot of people are going to try it for a day or two, but whether they stay with it for a week or more is going to be a huge defining point in how FTB goes forward in the next 9 to 12 months, because that's what we're planning for now. We're not planning for tomorrow. We're planning for
the future.
We're planning for, and this is the first step in the next evolution, if you like, of FTB, because it is it's a huge change to the way we do mod packs, and I'm hoping it will be a huge change to the way that everybody does mod packs, because it's going to allow us so many new options. The mode changing that we've got with FTB tweaks, which, again, like T-Fox has said, it's really important for people to know that although these two mods carry our names, FTB tweaks and FTB utilities, they are written by other people. And those are the people that will be profiting off it, not us. We just maintain them to make sure that,
Yeah, we maintain them for security reasons. In case for some reason a mod developer disappears, we could have somebody else go on the project. But we don't get the not ad revenue, but the curse reward points.
The curse
100% go to the developers. Yep.
And it also means that we've got mod developers, and we're bringing these mod developers into our community, and they're going to be able to help us out in the future, and that's fantastic. And that, again, is something that we're going to be looking to do a lot more in the next 12 months, is evolving the way we do things and bringing mod developers in to help us out with different things and stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to the next 12 months in FTB's future, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this pack is played out. And like, I can tell you now, the first thing I'm going to be doing this weekend is looking to see who is streaming this pack and who is YouTubing this pack, and I'll be watching those as well, because I'm looking forward to seeing them go through the pain that we've gone through over the last year.
Me too.
I will be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Give it your best guess. How many streams do you think are going to be tonight on Infinity Evolved?
I wouldn't even know where to guess, to be honest. I hope a lot, because, like Slowpoke said, we have to justify the dev time that's going in this to do it again in the future. That's the biggest thing. Like I said, I've got over 300 hours. If you figure an average 40 to 50 hours a week, that's the last 2 months of my work has been 100% on Infinity Evolved.
Well, we also have a good important point here. There's been a lot of infrastructure and the things that have changed with Evolved and with just the way that the pack is developed, that a lot of that dev time is part of that infrastructure as well that can be carried on going forward.
Oh, yeah, that was a big part of it. Now that FTB Tweaks is developed and out there, I can focus on script packs, not so much how to make them work, you know what I mean? So, of course, doing another pack like Infinity Evolved would be a lot faster. But still, it's still, to do all the hardest part about doing the scripts is honestly not writing the scripts, it's testing them. I mean, you guys can vouch for me. We were pushing, I was changing 15, 16 recipes every hour on the server the first few days we got it on, because,
somebody found a easier way,
right? Yeah, we found exploits. If I gated something improperly, that's the longest part. Is we have if you look back at version 1 of our development, Infinity Evolved, and versus what will now become the release candidate, which goes out today, it's changed 10 times over, and for the better, of course. But what's been I don't, because I know we've got a lot to get through this stream, so I don't want to go on too long. Yeah,
I can tell you this. It's been fantastic. Is during the course of the making of this pack, whilst T-Fox spent like a lot of time, like months, doing the initial version 1 before it went on the server. The instant he did that, we had maybe 10, 15 people that were constantly playing the pack, and we were all communicating in a room, and that's 10 to 15 people who are inputting gameplay ideas. And like the magic tree has gone through 3, 4 different iterations completely in that time.
I was on iteration of 15 of Magic last night on the last push.
I'm talking about like in the design behind how the progression was to work. And exactly the same with the tech tree as well. It's gone through several different iterations on how we go, and the lessons that we've learned from this, which we're going to take forward into the next.
They're priceless. Yeah,
it's going to be fantastic. And it's going to be fantastic for everybody playing it. It's like I can't wait. I really cannot wait to see how this is received. And we don't normally do this, but I'll tell you 2 numbers. and I'm not going to give you exact numbers because we never do this, and we never will. But FTB Infinity is now FTB's most successful mod pack ever in terms of unique downloads. And that includes Ultimate, which most people seem to think was. And it used to be the most successful.
It used to be until Infinity.
Yeah, FTB Infinities is now, by a fairly big margin, the most successful pack we've ever made, which is a huge testament to the work that T-Fox and his team has done. Because the stability of the pack is incredible. It's absolutely insane, the stability of the pack.
Yeah,
when it comes to kitchen sink packs.
Yeah, last time I looked, Infinity and all-time unique downloads was about 500,000 ahead of Ultimate, which is really impressive. And it hit that, and then, you know, what's crazy is Infinity's 8 months old today. In 10 more days, it's 8 months old. And every time I push an update, to see the amount of people that are still updating Infinity is super impressive. It's and this should do nothing but help it. It's crazy.
So the other number I was going to say very quickly, and then I'm going to let you guys go on to the other stuff because I know we've got to move on, is in my head, when me and T-Fox sat down a month ago and talked about where the line was when it came to the success of FTB Infinity Evolved with regards to the scripted stuff. Not so much FTB utilities, because that's a given. It's going to be huge. That can't not be huge. But with regards to the expert mode, which is what we're now calling it, I originally said that if we could get 10% of the people who were playing on normal FTB Infinity playing expert, then that would make it viable. From the hype I'm seeing now, I fully expect 15 to 20% playing expert mode within the next few weeks.
I hope so.
And if that's the case, given the type of pack that it is, because this is not a normal pack. Do not kid yourselves, guys. This is not a normal pack. You do not want to play this if you want to play like normal Infinity. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of fun as well. But it's, you're not going to be getting to AE2 on day one. That's viable.
There's only 2 people, and one quick fact, and then we'll move on. But there's only 2 people on our whole entire test server in the last 30 days that actually got AE. 3 people.
Working in teams.
3 people.
And that was not even with the new recipe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that was with the older recipe as well.
That was even changed.
And there's been a lot of power players, a lot.
And I love the fact that we've put in goals.
Yes.
With regards to the free creative items.
Yep.
Because they are now proper end goals that people can watch.
They're trophies that you have something to work for.
Absolutely.
The mana pool's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say on that. I cannot wait, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we have. I love the fact we've got 400 plus people watching the stream.
Wow, that's crazy.
I like how I'm seeing a few people out there too that are like, oh, day one I'll have all that stuff.
Yeah, if you cheated in,
if the release today, please tweet at FTB team if you can get an AE system on day one, we want to see it
without duping. If you
get an AE system on day 7, I want to see it because I don't believe that.
Yeah.
We so want to see that. So I think we should start to talk about the actual new mods that are in here. These are brand new mods, super powerful, extremely, extremely good. So what I want to do now is actually get the mod author in here, Latvian modder, who did create this for us. Let me ping him real quick and let's see if we can get him.
To be fair, we are missing one guy out because he's not around at the moment. Latvian did one of the mods, so there's a second mod developed that helped.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It's, Jared.
Jared worked on FTB. Tweaks. Yeah.
Yes. FTB tweaks. We'll discuss actually.
Yeah.
While I'm
I can cover FTB tweaks really fast.
Because it's a vibe tweak.
Yeah. FTB tweaks is a very, very simple mod. All it does is it allows you to have different script packs. These script packs are not in your normal script folders that MindTweaker or ModTweaker does. When you have FTB tweak, your normal script folder is completely ignored. So any scripts you have in there are completely ignored. Basically, what it does with the ability of FTB lib and FTB tweaks, it creates different game modes and allows you to execute the commands to reload the different script packs. It's all it does. Super, super simple. It also communicates with the server upon login to see what version the server's on. It automatically converts you over. So it's a very simple mod. There was a lot of work that went into it, obviously. I'm not a mod developer, so I say it's simple, but the way it works is extremely simple. I know there's a lot in the code to make it work, but that's basically all it does. If you have no interest in doing that, if you're making a custom mod pack, you do not need FTB tweaks. However, FTB lib is a dependency of both FTB tweaks and FTB utilities. It allows them to integrate together when they're both present. But FTB tweaks is simply for changing the script packs. If you want all this fancy new stuff you're about to see and we're about to show off, that's going to be in FTB Utilities. That is a very huge mod. It's over 2 megabytes, the actual just the jar file. It's got so much content, and it's amazing. I'm going to let Raj take the floor.
Speaking of the
again.
mod author, here he is, Latvian modder, one of the mod developers that has worked on this, I would say, a lot on the FTB utility side. And we really want to jump into what are the features of this. I guess you could start wherever you feel comfortable, like, because there's a lot that goes into this.
Yeah, there's really a lot.
There is a lot. Okay, let's start with this. User interface. How does the user interact with such things? And if you want to bring up the gameplay, we actually show this.
Yeah, whenever you need the gameplay, you let me know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so in inventory, there is, on the left side, there is a button.
Pull up the gameplay now.
Yeah,
Yep.
I would say
Yeah,
gameplay.
actually, yeah.
Pull up now.
Yeah, so there is a button. There's multiple buttons, actually. And the first button opens an interface where you can see all of the players in the server. And you can do, you can like add them as friends, and they'll have to add you back. And then it's basically like Facebook type friend system. So when that's done, you can go and claim your chunks, which is you can select chunks from the world.
We've got a black screen here.
Yeah, it's up now. It just took a second to load. I had the instance minimized. It should be
Should we
up
start
now.
again with the description? So we
Yeah,
actually
I'm loading the single player world now. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
Outstanding. So with the user interface, you can go ahead and let's talk a little bit more about this claim chunk feature. What are the things that you can and things that you can't do, and possibly the things in the future that you can do? So right now, what can you do with the claim chunk?
So first of all, claim chunks are meant for protection. So if you select your chunks, then by default, only your friends can interact with them. That means break or place blocks or open inventories or chests. So basically, if the person is not your friend and the chunk is claimed, there's nothing he can do in that chunk. Second feature, which is by default disabled on server side, is explosions. You can claim your area and then enable disable explosions in your chunks, and creepers and TNTs won't explode in claimed area.
So you can actually disable explosions within your claimed chunk as long as the server has that feature enabled.
Yes, as long as server has that feature enabled, as you can choose, because on server side, the mod is very highly configurable. Words, sorry. Yeah, and you can basically configure everything, and explosions by default is like vanilla, and anyone can come and place a TNT and it will explode, or creeper can come and it will explode.
Is the volume changing for you guys too?
There's a little bit in and out. Yeah,
it's fine for me on my end. That's what the stream hears. So,
okay, no problem. We'll carry on then.
Yep, and so yeah, if you click on that TNT button, a red X will show there.
Yes.
And that means explosions won't happen, and you can try to place TNT and it will just disappear. Same with creepers; they'll just they kind of go bigger and then just disappear. That's all. Claim chunks. You can see there is a little key. One second. Yeah.
Yep.
You can see the little key icon there, and that has 3 modes: private, public, and friends. So by default, it's only friends. So whenever someone comes in your claimed area and tries to break a block, it will check if that person is your friend, and if he is, then he will be able to.
We have got some audio issues going on. People are not hearing.
Really?
Yeah, the chat's reporting it a lot.
Right, exactly. I was just gonna. It's happening here when I hear him.
Okay.
I'm getting it as well.
I'll reiterate that just a little bit on that key, the block security. There's by default, it is friends only, so only your friends can interact with blocks within your chunk. What was the second?
There's public and
Public?
then private.
Yeah, public. Public means that everyone can access
Everybody can interact with it, and then private would be only you can interact with it.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Very much like forestry machines and the strong boxes from Thermal Expansion. They have very similar tesseracts. They have a private mode, a public mode, and then a friends only mode. Very, very similar feature. But it works
in future I plan to add integration with that mod. So you'll have
Raj Bomber in the chat. There's a question there. Sorry.
Will the claim chunks on a map save, i.e., if I'm making a map for a mod pack and I protect chunks, can I distribute the map with those chunks claimed?
No, because those chunks will be claimed on your name. So that person, well, you can protect those chunks, and if you set them as private, if it's not meant to be interacted with them, like if you really mean it to be like you can't touch these blocks, then I'll just claim them. Then yes. But if
that would be really cool. For
yes,
some map
you could. You could ship. There is a file that's generated. I don't want to cut you off, Latvian, but your audio is kind of going out. There's a file that's generated in your world save that's called latmod, and in there it has all this information of claimed chunks. And as a player, if you go ahead and claim what you need to on your map, set it as private, then when you ship it, yes, those would remain claimed under your name, which hence nobody else could override.
More importantly, as a map maker, if you claim them as private, then the map, you're creating like areas of a map that can't be touched. No block. That's actually incredible for map makers. That's really. Yes. I know what great Orator's getting on about that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and you could even whitelist. You could whitelist
Yeah.
additional blocks. Right now, by default, correct me if I'm wrong, Latvian, but the only block that is whitelisted in claims is the open block grave, which means that if you die in somebody's protected area, like if you didn't mean to and you're walking through exploring, you can still go break your grave in that protected area. But you can add any block you want to that whitelist and extend it.
Which is even better, actually. Yeah. That's going to be so good for map makers. It's going to be insane.
Yes.
But like if you can like whitelist and blacklist the mods that can't be broken or can be broken, it's going to be incredible.
Well, not the mods, but the blocks in specific. Yeah.
So like a chest,
right? If you want to be able to interact with chests, you can whitelist
actually just answered what Orator's going on, and Orator's going to probably have like a very exciting time right now because I'm thinking of the possibilities. Because I know that's what I'm already doing right now. Yeah, exactly, Orator. Sorry.
That was a great question, though.
That was
it's an amazing question.
Something I never thought about, honestly.
No, I've literally just thought about it now. And we're over 500 viewers now as well, guys, which is fantastic.
Outstanding.
Okay, let's go on and
because we've got a ton more features.
Yeah, let's continue. Go ahead, Latvian. If Latvian starts to get quiet, Raj, if you just kind of want to reiterate what he's saying.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Awesome, because I can't control that on my end. It's something on his, and it's too late to worry about it. So let's continue.
Okay. Let's start to go into the actual friends list now. So if I can claim chunks and allow my friends to come and play with the chunks that I built, let's go to the friends list. Let's take a look at this right now. Let's look at the various features that we have within the friends portion of this.
Yeah, so I'll just say real quick how you get to it since I'm sharing the screen. If you open up your inventory, and let me actually go into like not cheat mode. I don't know if I can change it to single player, but obviously in your inventory you see all these buttons. How I got to claim chunks was this middle button that shows the map. Simple as that. To exit you can hit escape or hit the check, and to get into friends is the very top icon where there's a group of people staying in there, and then I'll let you take over from here.
Absolutely. So Latvian, about the friends list.
What's up? Well, there isn't much to say.
There you go. He's got it. It showed up then.
Yep.
Yeah. So, in friends list, you can see all the players. You can see the player you selected, his armor, and last item he held. That's basically like you can see the. Oh, and if you click on with left click on player, you can see his stats on the right side. So you can see when he joined, for how long has been playing on the server, and stuff like that.
Okay, so we have a few things. I'll reiterate that because it was a little bit quiet. You were able to see the armor that they currently are wearing, also the last item that if they had it in their hand, you'll be able to see that, and also see a lot of server stats with that, like the last time they were seen on the server, how long ago did they join, how many deaths did they have in the server, and how long they played. A lot of those player stats are just right there, and you're able to. It's a right click
Yes, I can right click on say Hanny Puppy, and just for demonstrations, I pulled all this information off our server, but I am in a single player world, so obviously I can't accept his friend request.
Friend list.
But I could do, like, if I wanted to send him, I just add a friend, and it's in blue because it's pending friend. And the next time he logs in onto the server, he'll get the request and he can simply accept it. And then once they're your friend, they're green. Like you can see here, Hermie1 is my friend, so she has a green box around her. Yellow means that the pending request is coming from the other person. You haven't accepted it yet. Blue means you've sent the pending request. Green means they're already your friend. Black outline means they're not your friend. And the biggest thing that this does is it allows them to access your claim chunks if you have it in friends mode. Yes. Am I right on that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So these are all the people that have logged into our server at one point and generated a player file. You can see some people haven't played very much. They've just logged in. For example, like Fireball, last seen 23 days ago, joined 24 days ago. So there are a couple people that came on and didn't have a chance to play. I know she's in the middle of moving right now, so that was why. But like,
I'm sure it wasn't. Oh, AE system is really tough.
It might be. But you can see, like, if I go to Ragicent, you could see he was last seen. You can see he's played for 9 hours, 9 days, 16
actually,
hours, 20 minutes, and 1 second. So he's been super, super busy. So that pretty much covers the friends. If you want to go ahead and jump into the player decorators, since you can easily see that on my screen, you might want to go and cover that topic.
The player decorator portion?
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you would not mind, Latvian?
Yeah. Sure. So, player decorators is, well, I call them badges for short. And you can see a little icon on your, what is it, left side? I guess, yeah. Left side of your chest. From your person, I guess that's the right side. Anyway, yeah, it's a little icon that is downloaded from internet, so you can change it online. It's a whatever image file it is, and you can have custom badges per server. So if you set up a file, there will be instructions later on, like FTB wiki or something like that. There will be instructions how to make that file, but basically you can give every player a badge if you want to, and they can have like different badges. And for say, like donators, they can have like a money badge or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
so
a Patreon.
It's
like a cosmetic reward. It doesn't do actually anything in game. It's just like for fun, I guess, and for
it's just for bragging rights. And we're actually like, if you see the FTB tag, we kind of are using those as an example, but those are mod wide, and we actually control that on our end, and we'll be able to give badges to people that win competitions, like FTB competitions. We can give them medals, stuff along those lines, and it'll be visible on every server. But also individual servers can have their own badge sets as well. So that pretty much wraps it up, and it's simply an imager link or any type of image link online. Imager works really, really well. That's what I've been using. We've been using a 256 by 256 image. It's nice and HD looking. It does not affect the client at all as far as lag or anything like that. And then you just put the UUID of the player in, and that's it. That's how you do custom badges. And like you said, there'll be full documentation on that to teach.
I believe we have to go into a few very relevant questions that are coming in at this point.
Yeah.
Back to some of the chunk claiming features. Is there a way to have different security settings in different chunks? So you can have public chunks, friend-enabled chunks, and fully private chunks. Is that a possibility?
Not for now. For now, it's just like, in general, in all chunks, they have one mod you can select. Maybe that's a feature that's coming in future. But for now, it's not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have a big feature list like to add to this.
Yeah,
but it got to a point where we're like, okay, we need to fix the features we have now and get this out to the public and start getting feedback on it. But we do have quite a few things we plan on adding, but they will just take time because this is a very huge mod. So,
okay, this one could be for either TFox or Lat. It's about the admin of a server, an op. Does the admin have the ability to take those claims away from people on a server? First off.
Yes.
Yes.
There is an admin unclaim command, and yeah, you can unclaim individual chunks. There will be a better way to unclaim other player chunks in the future, but for now, yeah, there is at least that.
Yeah, you just simply type, if you're an op on the server, you type /admin unclaim, and then it unclaims a chunk you're currently in. Like he said, I'm sure he's planning on doing it GUI based down the road, but
Yes.
right now that is a way. And also by default, admins override claimed areas. There is a setting, however, that you can disable that so admins would be treated as players in claimed chunks, but by default admins do override protections. But that is a server config. If you want to change that, you can.
Yeah, if you're creative. Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
in creative, you can interact with blocks and everything. Yeah.
Well, right. But on a server, your players
the question,
aren't going to have
the
creative.
question also came up: is there like maybe a subset? You don't have to be a full op, but like a moderator kind of level that you could do the chunk claiming portion. Or at this point, do you have to be an op to run those commands?
At this point, yes, you do have to be op for all that
Yes.
stuff because the permission system is not in yet.
Yeah, that's I guess something we can talk about later. If you
Yeah,
had time.
that's a future feature that will be coming in FTB utilities, but it's going to take a while to get it done and get it done right. But as of right now, the difference between admin commands and player commands are simply op and player. But down the road, there will be all different types of permission nodes that you can set for ranks on your server. But we'll get into all that
Yes.
later.
Absolutely. Okay, I think that does kind of take care of a few of the questions that have come in specifically about that. So let's move on a little bit further within the mod.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
if you want me to, because it'll be easier because I'm showing, I can show off the server information tab really quick.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you see this little blue info button. This is really cool. What it does is it basically gives you some basic server information. Now, keep in mind, I am op on the server, so I see a little bit more information. This other tab is something that I see that players will not see, and that's entities. If you ever need to block an entity, which FTB utilities can block any mob from spawning on the server, this is a list of all the entities in the mod pack. So it's really simple for you to find their custom name. You don't have to do any weird dumps of data to find it. And also, same thing for enchantments. If you're a mod pack developer, it's really nice and easy to see. This lets you know the available empty IDs you can use for enchantments. That seems to be a lot of problems people have. I think potions will go in there soon as well. So that's really cool. But for a player, you get some really neat information. Server info, you get to see the message of the day, which is by default in my single player world, welcome to server. The next backup is going to run in an hour and 45 minutes. Also, if you're on a server, it'll tell you the next restart if they're using that auto restart feature. Server tops are simply a list of like stats from the server, the age of people. I've been on the server for 32 days. I was the first one to join the world because I set up the server. Rajacent came in literally 15 minutes later, you can tell, and started playing. So this is the age of people on the server. The deaths, you can see deaths. Slowpoke is now in third place. Latvian Modder is in second place, actually.
Wow.
So that's the deaths on the server. You can see deaths per hour, which is really cool. And I kind of make fun of Slowpoke for this because both his players are within the top 4 spots on that one, which is kind of funny. Last scene. This is kind of this is really nice. If you ever want to see like how active your players are, you can look and see. When was the last person seen? You can see Latvian Modder was on the server a day and 5 hours ago was the last time he joined. Rajacent was last on the server an hour and 47 minutes ago. So it's a really helpful thing. And then the last one you get is total time played. Actually, our top is Karma Charger. He's been a big asset in helping us test. He has 309 hours of online time on the server. Which
Can I
is
just say,
insane.
the only reason I've got so many deaths is because the person I'm playing with, Roomov, keeps shooting me with his crossbow. That's literally the only reason I've got so many
I
deaths.
think there's some congratulations in order, though. Latvian, congratulations on the highest deaths per hour.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
But yeah, so it's a real simple interface. The pink at the top shows the top 3, and then if you just scroll down, you'll be in green, and you can see there. I've got 1 hour. That's because my single player world has overwritten what was on the server. I think
Yes.
I have.
Yes. On server it would show correct. Probably.
Yeah, I'm probably about 100 hours on the server, so minimally. But yeah, so that's some really quick information about server info, which is really cool. So I think probably the next thing would be the config lat. How you've got like a GUI based config. So if you hit this gear, you can quickly change your basic configs as a player here.
Yeah, and this is client side configs,
yes.
not server side.
So if you don't-
there will be a GUI for server configs too for admins only, but that's the future.
Yeah, so like if you don't want to see player decorators, you can completely turn them off here. If you don't want your player decorator to be shown, you can turn it off. If you want to see some debug information or dick and registry names, you can just enable them there. Options button, it'll get rid of the options button clearly on your client. And then chat links. Chat links are cool. I can't show those off a single player, but when somebody types a chat, like a link in chat.
We can show in chat. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but it shows like a little button you can click and open it up in your web browser. If you don't want to be bothered by that stuff, you can just simply disable it here. For right now, like you said, server only commands. If I just do /admin, and then you can see like a list. This is server commands that are available. Like your
I think we should
world
go in a
border.
little bit more in depth with those server commands. Some of those
Yeah,
features.
yeah. I'll go into the features, but as far as like running all the commands, we'll have documentation available for that. That'll
It's
eat up
all
too
being
much
documented.
time. Yeah, but basically, as an admin, I can go ahead and run a backup real quick. I can. I'm in
Backup
single.
start.
Yeah, I'm in single player. Backup.
You can
start.
just talk
There
about
we
it. You
go.
can see what's there. Just talk about what's
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just
Um,
get
You
out
can-
this-
Also, in let me just get where I can tab back. Admin commands. You can see the config. You can change all different type of configs from the server right here on your client. Delete warp MVC, which is really really powerful. Allows you to see the full inventory of another player. Unfortunately, I can't show you that because I'm not on the server.
MC is the most powerful command. We've used
Yeah.
it so much.
Yeah, so if you think somebody was griefing or something, you want to look and see what's their inventory, or if somebody like has a desync and they lost one of their blocks, an admin can simply replace it. They don't have to teleport to them and give the item or type crazy commands. Reload is any type of config you change. All you have to do is do /admin reload. It reloads the whole entire FTB utilities, server and client side. So if you change any type of config, you do not need to reboot the server, which is amazing. Set item name, kind of self-explanatory. Set warp, if you want to set a warp to spawn, /admin, set warp, the name, and then any player can do /warp and then that name and teleport to it. For example, on our server, we have 3 warps. We have spawn, the mining age, and the end. And people can just warp to those. It gets away with having to have portals. Really nice. Unclaim, that's that unclaim admin override where you can unclaim. And world border is simply /admin, world border set, your dimension number, and then what radius from spawn you want to have that world border. I think on our server we have it at 4,000. And
Yes.
you can do that for every dimension. By default, there's no world border in any dimension. So yeah, that's pretty much the back end on the admin commands. Also, for the more advanced power users, this is all in a text config file that'll be on the server. If you do want to edit the stuff offline, you can as well. So yeah, that's how that works. Also, really quick, while I am in game showing commands, this also relates to FTB tweaks. If you do FT and then tab FTB mode, you can do list. You can see right now the available game modes are expert and normal. If I want to go ahead and go into expert mode, I'll go ahead and type expert. It'll say game mode already set. So if we just, for example, look at a quarry, you'll see that's what I usually use to as an example because it's a really easy recipe
I use
change.
But yeah.
So if we look at just the buildcraft quarry, you can look, the recipe is significantly different than normal, and then you can simply do FTB mode set normal, and then it'll do a script reload, and which I have the old script pack, so ignore those
And
modifications.
you really can't spell today, can you?
No. And then if you look at the recipe now, it's back to default. And then you can simply, if you want to go back to expert, it takes a second to load the expert scripts because there are a lot of them. And then now it says game mode set to expert. Right back in, you're set there. And that's how you would change it on server and on client.
And I think
Simple
that's
as
kind of
that.
an important thing right now for release day because a lot of people are going to be wanting to play the expert mode.
Yep.
I believe by default, if you download it, is it in normal or expert? Like if
It's
you did normal-
always in default normal. Whenever you create a new world or go into existing world that has not had this mod pack on it, it's going to be a normal. You have to change it to expert. So server owners that do want to do expert, what you'll want to do is boot your server. You'll want to be the first person to log in and go ahead and set your game mode. You can do it from console. You can run that command from console if you'd rather do that. Go ahead and set it in expert. And then as your players log in, it'll always stay in expert until you change it back. But by default, everything is in normal. We wanted that because we didn't want to force expert on people that don't want it. So, yeah, it's all default normal. You have to run that command to get an expert, but you only run it once. It's saved in your world files, so that world will be permanently in that mode until you change it back. And it does override the cheat feature, so if for some reason you do create a world with cheats disabled, it doesn't matter. You can still run that command on a single-player world because you're considered op. So, which is a really nice feature.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that covers FTB tweaks how to use it in game. There you go. That's it. Probably the next thing in FTB utilities that pretty much one of the last big things that we can actually show off would be the in-game guide.
Which is the massive.
Yes, and the in-game guide, I'll just quickly explain, it does work with game modes. So in normal mode, the guide's different than what it is in expert mode. You can have a guide for every single mode, or you can just put the guide in a common folder and it'll be available in every mode. So you can have per mode guides or one big guide. And the guide's really simple. You click on this book, and there you go, getting started. It's a very simple text-based file that's thrown in a folder. The folder name is the chapter. Very, very simple to use, very easy to edit. People can work on it together. Click on getting started, first stage. You can see it supports links, and it also supports, if I go like Tinker's Tools, you'll see it also supports images, which are really cool. And it's very simple to set up and use. And there'll be documentation on how to develop a guide very, very soon.
I would like to show off just one little feature of this, because I'm sure this is going to be one of the biggest things. I forgot how to get to expert mode. Can you switch the mode to normal real quick and then go to the guidebook?
Yeah. So if I go normal, and then if you go into guide, there you go, expert mode, it tells you right there. Exactly. So the guide is different in normal. And then if we go back to expert, we go back to the guide that's made for expert mode. So you'll see here we're back in the expert mode guide.
There you go.
We actually need to put all the commands into the guide. That'd be a good idea.
They are. That's what we just showed.
No, all the admin
all the commands.
Oh, yeah. Eventually we will. Eventually we will.
Maybe we can make an appendix or something like that at the bottom.
Yes,
I don't know.
we actually talked about that. Yep. Yeah. We will plan on doing that within the next couple days. So as far as GUI-based stuff, that pretty much covers FTB utilities as far as everything GUI-based that you can do in-game as a player. I showed you some of the admin stuff. There are a few things we didn't discuss, like backups. I'll quickly say backups are enabled by default. They run every 2 hours, and they're on a compression level of 1. Compression level ranges from 0 to 9. I highly suggest staying on 1 if you're on a big server. 9 being the most compressed file, but it is the most CPU intensive. So 1 is a very good figure. 0 means no compression. It will literally just mirror your world folder and throw it in a backup section.
Can we just, before we go on, because there's something that was missed out about the guide, at least I didn't hear it, and this is really important for people to understand. Those guides are written in what's called plain text, which means if you want to write your own guide, but that also means that if you want to write a guide for other people, you can do that, and they can very simply import it into their world. So what we're hoping to see in the next few weeks and months coming is people to write guides for Britannia and all the different mods.
Yeah, we'd like to get them in.
Collect them all. Into the guidebook, so that it's not just our guides but your guides as well. It's not an FTB thing, it's a community thing, and we'd love to see that utilized by everybody.
Yes,
because it's a very powerful, simple tool.
Yes,
support pictures, links, and mouse over hovers, so all kinds of things that you can do with that guidebook.
So we talked about auto backup. So that runs every 2 hours by default. You can easily change that in the config if you want it to be every hour, every 5 hours. Completely up to you. You could change the compression level. Like I said, 1 is what it is by default. I highly suggest keeping that at 1. You don't really want to go any faster because you will feel a little bit of lag. I will say the whole time we were testing this on our server, we felt 0 lag from backups. Never had an issue. Even when it starts the cycle and ends the cycle, you never felt it, which is really good because I can't say the same for when we use the Roma's backup. You feel that cycle. So that definitely has improved. And for that reason, we have removed Aroma's backup from FTB Infinity Involved because it's not needed anymore. This replaces that feature 100%. So the next big thing as server owners that's available, I can't show you in game, is auto restart. If you do, by default, auto restart is disabled. But I highly suggest to server owners you go and enable auto restart, and there'll be a custom script that you throw in your launch script. I will have that be provided with the server download. It's already there, and it allows you to have your server automatically reboot on whatever hour you set. If you want it every 6 hours, every 8 hours, every 24 hours, whatever you set, it'll automatically reboot for you. And it just helps clean a little bit of the leftover memory. Java's pretty dirty with that kind of stuff. And if you're on a big server like we run FTB1, I have a restart of every 6 hours, and it makes a big difference. Sometimes when there's a lot of players on, we just start to get a little bit of block lag, like around 5-6 hours in, and once the restart, it freshens everything back up. And it's really handy on big worlds and stuff like that. So that's,
we found it handy today. Perfect. It was like we had a little thing today, not our fault, just a Halloween issue, and we had to use the backup. But it's fantastic. Very
Yeah.
quick hype. 600 plus people now.
Wow,
Nice.
633. Yeah, that's crazy.
I'd like
so-
to cover something really quickly,
Yeah.
though. I think we've gone through a lot of this is what's going to be in the release for this for FTB utilities. What about the future of FTB utilities? What other features may we be seeing? We'll say soon, TM.
Right.
Go ahead,
Well,
Latvian. That's you.
Default? Okay, yeah. So, first of all, the big feature that's planned is from the claims GUI, you can claim special chunks that will be chunk loaded without blocks. So it's gonna be.
That's a pretty big one.
Well,
You guys
that's-
all hear that? I hope everybody understands the gravity of that. That is chunk loading with the claim feature.
Well, yeah. For me,
So,
that's
but they're separate. You can
Yeah,
you don't
yeah, of
have
course.
to claim the chunks
That's
you're
correct.
loading, and you also don't have to load the chunks you're claiming. They're independent of each other. It's amazing.
And it'll all be able to be controlled by admins, so that'll always be a primary thought
could turn
in
it
our
off.
head.
Yeah,
Yes,
of
you
course,
can
anything- everything
completely
is
turn it off if you don't want
configurable by
it.
admins, yeah.
And to be clear, because Latvia's kind of missing this out, this chunk loading, we are going to set it so that it doesn't have to be free. We can add costs to it, apparently. Is that right? Is that still the plan? So,
yeah. Well, I
Um,
can do that. Yeah, I guess.
yeah. So if you want to add a fuel cost or an XP cost or something like that in order to keep chunks
It's probably
loaded.
gonna be XP or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we can also limit how long a chunk's loaded. For instance, like if you want to just keep it loaded for 3 days, where a player's offline for 3 days and then it shuts off, that's all going to be configurable.
Yeah, or if you just want it
Or
to be
just
loaded
only-
when they're
Yeah.
when the player's
exactly.
online, whatever, it'll all be configurable. So that's a huge feature coming, and it'll all be
Yeah.
GUI based. There'll be no blocks physically in game. So it'll be great for like if an admin's like, hey, I need to figure out where this lag's coming from. They can start disabling people's chunk, temporarily suspend chunk loading without having to go around the world and break anchors and stuff. Be really, really powerful.
But we're getting the right people involved to make sure that these chunk loading system is done right.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, Kyle?
Any other features that we could see on the horizon?
I absolutely forget everything, but
I know a lot of them. If you want me to discuss just a couple
Yeah,
that
sure.
we've talked about. One of the big things we talked about, which is going to take some time to implement to do it right, but we have talked about doing permission nodes.
Yes.
And what that means basically is you'd be able to set ranks on your server. You could have, if you guys remember back in the day, bucket plugins like permissions EX, B permissions, stuff along those lines. You can set a player rank, and you could have it have a fancy title in green or whatever, and then you'd be able to say this player rank has access to these permissions. And at that point, you could also assign them different claim amounts. So say they're only allowed to claim 25 chunks. They're allowed 0 chunk loading. They're allowed access to certain TP commands, whatever commands are available in game. You can assign them to that node. Then you can have a VIP rank or a donator rank or something along those lines that could have access to chunk loading, more claim power, maybe a slash spawn command, maybe slash back, which is available. All that stuff is op only at the moment, but you can make it available to all your players. But in the future, we hope to have that all be in a ranking system, so you can have as many ranks as you want on a server, and that really is important. And I'll also bring in that for monetization of your server, that could help you out a lot. We'll never say yes, we endorse it, but we're never going to say no to stuff like that. It could really help server owners help cover their operating costs of a server, being able to have a few different ranks to offer some extra permissions, because that doesn't void the EULA of Mojang nor ours.
As long as they're
FTBs.
within the bounds of
Exactly.
EULA, because we're under an MIT license, we're not going to chase after people who use some of these features in ways, as long as they stay within the EULA. That's the
Yeah. We
qualifier.
don't want you profiting off of it, because then you start to get into the mod developers area they don't like. But if you're covering your server costs, we have no problems with that. But that's kind of just going to be an area we're not really going to discuss. You guys can take it as you want. Just don't sell items, because then you're violating the EULA of Minecraft itself. So
Lots of
that's
great
some cool
and
features.
powerful
Yeah.
tools.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're saying. As long as they stay within the EULA tech period. The other thing that we
Exactly.
talk about, don't expect this anytime soon. I'm crying for it. I think Latvian wants to do it. I think T-Fox wants to do it. But we do want to put in a factions type system at some point
Yes.
down the line.
Which basically
Way down
what
the
that
line.
would do is you'd be able to have like a group of friends that could all do things together, and have like your chunks be faction controlled instead of player controlled. So a group of friends could claim an area, stuff along those
maybe
lines.
badges per
Yeah,
faction.
badges per faction. You could have a custom
Yeah.
badge on your player showing what faction you're in. Stuff along those lines. But those are features that we would like to get in, but we just didn't have enough time to get them in. So over the next few months, next 6 months, expect to see some really big updates to FTB Utilities, slowly starting to add these future features in.
Yeah. The main point is what you see with FTB Utilities today
It's
is
the first
start.
release. Yep.
It's not the end. It's not even remotely close. It's just
I
the
will
beginning.
say the protections are very, very good. We did a lot of testing on the server, and like you can't even get in a person's minecart in their protected area. It's extremely good. You can't access
very
AE. You can't access any single machine. You can't open doors. Like it blows away like World Guard and stuff that people are used to using in Bucket. I will say it's really, really amazing. There are a couple things that are considered fake players that still override them, like turtles and like a mining laser. There's nothing we can do to prevent that. But simply as a server owner, just remove those items if it's going to be a big public server and you have issues
Tons
with it.
of great features for server
Yeah,
owners, for sure.
Look at this.
Yes.
We've timed this wonderfully.
Yeah.
We've
Yes.
timed it wonderfully.
So
I'm
that
trying.
pretty much
3
covers. I
3
think.
minutes over.
Yeah, I think that covers
I would love
it. So.
to. I would love to just put one thing out there because Latvian T-Fox has been working very, very hard to get all these updates, and like we said, update literally every day. But I got to give some props to Lat as well because he has done an amazing job of. There's a problem. Here's an update like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's been really, really great as part of the process to get not only all of these great utilities, but debugging them right alongside the pack as well. So everybody give him a hand, That is great.
That's
Like,
awesome.
you get my vote.
And I will say before you go, Latvian, I love your wallpaper.
Yes.
I feel like we're like in Biomes O'Plenty right now, like in one of those big flower fields. But okay, I think it's probably we need to go to the next topic, Raj.
Thank
or-
you.
What
Thank you,
we're gonna do?
Thank you
What we're
very
gonna
much,
do now is we're gonna
Latvian.
bring on a bunch of players that have played Infinity Expert Mode to give everybody's kind of opinions. Some streamers, some YouTubers, and all kinds of different things. And I think the first one is going to be the only Bentley. If you guys don't know who he is, he's an amazing YouTuber. Can I get one thing from some moderator in chat? Can we get a permit so he can post his YouTube channel in the chat for everybody?
I don't know if I can.
Wow, we've
I
got
mean,
almost 700 people watching. That's
Yeah,
insane.
it's great. We am I opting here?
Yes, you are.
I would hope so. But,
I don't know. I don't opt Slowpoke on a lot of stuff. He'll even tell you that. So
No, I'm permit. I don't know what the command is. Is it
I don't
exclamation
either.
mark?
well, let's go in and get Bentley in. I could actually post
there you
his.
go. There you go. There
Okay,
you go.
cool.
It's done. It's got it.
Cool.
Bentley.
Hi, Bentley.
here, everybody.
Hey, look! It's the Yeti Club.
It is.
Yeah. I love that mic, man.
The
It works
Yeti Club.
so well.
How you doing today, Bentley?
I'm doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Oh, not bad. Not
Great.
bad at all. Wanted to bring you on here because you've been playing on the Infinity server. I believe you got a YouTube series going with it as well. What
Oh,
is it,
yeah.
Episode 7 or something like that right now?
7's going up today.
Awesome. So I just got to go through. How's your experience been? If once you're going through the pack, you started off in the world. Was it hard? What were the good points? What were the bad points? What was your experience like?
It wasn't hard at all, actually. It really wasn't. You think, like, past days like Greg Tech or something, a lot of people, like, I've been hearing that word being thrown around a lot lately. And it's... Yeah, no, and it's definitely not. It's really, really not. Once you get yourself, your basics going, which is like your tinkers or whatever, and obviously I haven't, explored all of the beginning parts of what FTB Infinity Evolved has to offer, but just playing around and getting started. I went down the tech tree. Obviously, they have like more stuff than that, the magic tree, but I've been enjoying it. It's really not that difficult to actually progress through. It's got a nice progression system. It's not too grindy, and it's not, too easy either, So it's an aspect that I really, really come to enjoy, and I've been having a blast playing it on the server. And comparatively to what normal FTB Infinity is, I found that there are a lot of differences. If you are one of those people that just want to see what a mod pack can do, just jump in and play. FTB Infinity is your deal. That's what you want to do. If you want to get in and play something for longevity, you want to be playing for a while. If you want to have a goal, FTB Infinity Evolved is what you want to do. And that's what I've come to find out. And I've really, really liked the aspect of being able to change between the two so easily and freely like that.
That's very, very good. How would you say this? Like, if you were going to play this, is it better on a server or better on a single-player environment, or would it even matter?
I don't even think it would matter. This is something you could play single player. This is something you could play multiplayer. You could play it with friends. You could play it on a big server like the FTB1 team is doing. You know, I consider that a pretty decent sized server, but considering it, you know, it has a whole lot of mods on there too. You know, but yeah, I think you can play this any way you want, whether it's just normal Infinity or if it's just evolved. Play it with friends. It's fun both ways.
So what do you think about this? So you're running through the pack, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this next. I'm going to go this way with it, right? And you look up the recipe up in NEI. Was there any given moment that you were just like, really?
Quite a few times. I was like, okay, well, I'm ready to go ahead. I need a jetpack. I got to have a jetpack. And I was like, okay, well, which jetpack do I want to get? Do I want to go ahead and do I want to have a really nice jetpack? Do I want to work towards a certain type of jetpack? I can go industrial craft. I can go simply jetpacks. There's one from Project Red. I'm probably missing one even. I believe there's some later in-game ones as well too. But then it's just like, all right, well, let's go with a simple one. You know, we'll just go with simply jetpacks. This is the route I've been taking. And then I looked at the Leadstone jetpack. It wasn't too bad. I had most of the infrastructure set up already for what I needed to craft that. Then the next tier up, which is like the hardened jetpack, I looked and I was like, okay, I can do that. Oh, item ducts, or not item ducts, they were actually flux ducts, hardened flux ducts. And I was like, okay, I can do that. Wait a minute, I don't have a compressor yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, well then, okay, I guess we're going to need a compressor. We're also going to need an induction smelter, which means I have to make a basic machine casing. So I'm going to have to make a rock crusher from Railcraft. So, yeah, there's been a couple of those points, but it's not difficult. I like the fact that it actually makes you, it doesn't really always make you, but it does help you kind of explore the other mods that aren't generally used very much either. And I like that. And it kind of helps you along that path, not only to, you know, experience those new mods, but actually to kind of help you use them as well.
Yeah, when was the last time, honestly, that you made a rock crusher?
Those things are not useful at
No,
all.
I know. They've got their own uses, but honestly, like, you know, in Railcraft as a standalone mod, it's very powerful, but there's so many other machines that replace it so much better that you never use it, but it's a really cool machine and it adds some unique features that other machines don't. And
it's a big hog.
Yeah, and it uses a lot of power and it's very expensive. And everybody probably yells at me for having to make one, but it's just an example.
Does that thing not make the best sound in Minecraft?
It has amazing sound effects.
Cool.
Just do not stand on top of it, and it will liable to eat your gravestone. Good tip, pro tip right there.
Oh,
yeah.
Good thing I haven't done that yet.
I did.
You told me after.
Slowpoke, you're completely muted right now.
I'm muted. I was just saying, I love the fact that the assembly table whoever makes one of them early game in the assembly table.
Yeah,
and it makes a fantastic gate.
It does.
Brilliant game.
It does. It's really neat. It's really cool.
So good. Like I'm loving the creative uses because it's not just like normal recipes we're able to change. We'll be able to add to the assembly table,
machines,
to the infusion altar. There's a whole bunch of things that we've been able to do with the recipes just to make it a bit more.
Yeah, it's not all just shape and shapeless crafting changes.
No.
It's a ton of machine changes. The way machines are used, what they produce. It's, you know, and NEI is 100% your best friend in expert mode.
Definitely.
Yeah, you have to use NEI.
Now, if you had one moment, and this is what I've found as I'm playing through the pack, is that it's very difficult. It takes a lot of steps to get there, but you get that item that you've been working for, and you get that reward and that sense of reward. If there's any moment that you've played through this pack thus far that was like, I finally did it, I got this, what item would that be for you, Bentley?
My biodiesel generator.
The biodiesel generator.
Because I sat there and I waited for hours and hours, just kind of like mining and doing other little things around the base, like picking up, cleaning, making things look nice, while my blast furnace was making me enough steel that I needed to make my biodiesel generator to make that jump from a hobbyist steam engine from like 20 RF per tick to 4,096 RF per tick. Granted, that's a really big jump.
Yes.
And it's not something that you really have to do. You know, I just thought it would be kind of fun to see the, you know, the change in the power differences there. And it's been dramatic. You know, obviously you can make a whole bunch of little power sources instead, you know, but I just want to have a little bit of fun with it. When I had it, you know, I was like, yes, we have power. And it's like, it's going to last me for a long time.
That's perfect. What, I can't believe you actually made that jump though, from like, what did you say? Your
Hobbyist steam engine
to the biodiesel generator. My goodness.
That's a bit of a jump, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
My biggest reward, I'm not going to lie, was the first Tinker's Construct hammer I got. That
hammer.
That thing
That's
was like
big.
that was a game changer for me because I'm so used to getting it so fast.
Yeah.
And you never realize how painful old school vanilla mining is. And then when you get that hammer, you feel, even the first stone hammer is super slow, you feel like you're just demolishing terrain with it. Like, it's an amazing feel that I've never had since the very first time I ever made a Tinker's hammer. So the sense of reward of that hammer was amazing for me.
I know for Roomwolf, who's playing with me, his was the Sojourner Sash, because that's very involved now. And for me, like, it's strange, but a pulverizer, like, it's ingrained into my brain now that a pulverizer requires a smeltery, a rock crusher, an assembly table, power for the assembly table. It requires a carpenter from forestry. Yeah, all of these different points of infrastructure. And it's not about going out and getting a stupid amount of resources and grinding it away in a mine for 16 years in order to get it. It's about building an infrastructure base as you go that's much more involved than anything we've seen before. And that's what I love most about this.
Yeah, and the machines are what's neat is, like, it's not like sometimes you get the Greg Tech feel where you make a machine for one thing, you never touch it again. I will say so far in my experience of playing, I've had to go back to even the very simplest machines to advance every time. Like, you know, that thermionic fabricator, I have to look back even to get into like really high-end machines. It's like, oh, I still need to go make some more of those little things, and I can't remember what they're called, the tubes.
The circuits or the electron tubes?
Yeah, the electron tubes. Like, you still have to fall back to that infrastructure that you made day one, which is cool. So you're not just, you know, filling up a base full of machines that you're never going to touch again, which I thought was very important in the development of it.
Yeah.
Very good. So, Bentley, I'd like to really thank you for joining us today. And
no problem.
Are you permitted for a link yet? Because if you could please just...
He should be. If not, I can re-permit.
I'm going to post his YouTube as well.
Perfect. That'd be great. If we can get just a post for his YouTube link, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, whilst he's doing that, very quickly, somebody asked a question. I'll answer very quickly while waiting for the next guest about the philosophies that we're doing with regards to cross-mod requirement. Because we've broken this down into two very succinct ones. So with tech mods, what we've looked at is the fact that there are early game mods, mid game mods, and end game mods. For instance, AE2 is an end game mod, Ender.io is kind of a mid to late game mod. So we're kind of gating on the way up. There's different mods that are gating on the way up. With Magic, it's a little bit different. All four mods kind of have early game sections, mid game sections, and late game sections. So they're all scaled together. So in order to get to the mid game of Magic, you need to get through the early game of all
and
different...
the guide explains that very well, actually. Yeah. So,
but thank you, Bentley. That was brilliant.
Thank you, Bentley.
Our next guest today is going to be the one, the only, Pulp John Fiction. Are you out there, Pulpy? I believe you could join it up really quick. Joining now, awesome.
I know he's taking a break from his actual stream, so that's thank him very much for joining us.
I think he finished early today.
Oh, he did. Cool.
To do this,
that worked out
I think
good.
That's, we're not completely interrupting.
Good.
Quickly become one of my favorite streamers, Pulpy. Very quickly, very good. Is he here?
Video. There we go.
Ah, there's audio.
There he is.
Yay!
Hello.
How are you today, Pulp?
I'm good. Very good. Yeah. Excited.
How was the stream today?
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun?
Absolutely nothing done, but yeah. Right.
It's a typical day, isn't it? You log off at the same point, you're thinking, I've done nothing today.
So basically, we're going to ask the same questions. I want to talk about your experience with Infinity, how it's been, what your challenges have been. So we'll start. Day one, you jump in. You think you're getting into, I'm going to get started. How do you feel?
Personally, I was really excited. Having watched like Rune and Slow play it for a few days before, I kind of knew what to expect in the difficulty of it, but just being on there and having to like find a base, and I found this perfect place. I was like, this is home. This can be it. And then the first thing I did was go to make some sticks. I was like, wow, here we go. The grind, the wood, sticks, it's all half and half. So I was like, okay, we did that. And then just the first thing I did really was try and get some food sorted, and even that is difficult. Even the food, like you want to make a baked potato, you need walnuts, pretty much.
You need walnuts for baked potato? I didn't even know that.
You need oil, yeah, frying oil.
Vegetable oil. That was the tip I was
yeah.
giving today. Was if you're going to start, if you see a walnut tree, grab yourself a walnut, because you are going to need it for cooking oil.
Biggest tip right there from Pulp John.
Pro tip right there.
Get the walnut trees for the oil.
Yeah, for me, as predominantly, you're gonna hate me now, but I used to be a vanilla player for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I didn't see a mod pack out there that I enjoyed. So like when I got into this, I was like, here we go, rub my hands, we can get stuck in here. And the progress is slow, but it's so tiered and so easy to go from one to the next stage that it's a dream to be able to, like, for me, there are normal infinity mode. It's like a kid in the shop with all the sweets. It's like, I want this, I want that, and you just don't know. Your mind's constantly flowing with things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Evolved makes you like go, right, I need to go here. So we get to A to B, and then we go B to like C. But to get from B to C, it's like a whole like 4 or 5 days of doing things. It's great. And so I feel like I'm learning and remembering and progressing and using mods that I've not used for so long. Like I first learned Industrial Craft. That was the first mod I learned 2-3 years ago, and I've not used it since. So to go back into that is just really exciting.
It's kind of fun to play with it again. The mod you haven't touched in forever.
For a long time, yeah.
So what was your moment of going through the recipes? You're looking at, okay, I want to make whatever. And you go through and you look at the NEI and you say, really? Where was that for you? The first moment that you saw that?
There's been a lot, but the big one was the Advanced Miner.
The Advanced Miner.
Wetsy make it, and then he was saying, you got to change this recipe. I was like, all right, we'll try and get it. And it took me 5 days to prepare for it. And I got to the very last point where I thought, I need everything to go. We got everything ready. And then I need the inscriber.
Oh.
That is, with nine lasers to build that, took me 8 hours just to build the machine frame resonant. I was like, oh. And then we had to find all the parts for it. I was like, oh my God. So it was like hours and hours and hours just to get to that. I was like, it was worth it. And when I built it, I was like, this is the best thing ever.
So that's the moment.
Because it makes you value that miner, doesn't it, so much more.
There's been a few incidents where, I mean, I remember the big time. I know you asked Bentley before, but I built an MFE. Built it. I was like, yeah, here we go, MFE, we can store it. I put it down and I mined a wire with my pickaxe and snicked the corner of the MFE and it turned back into a machine block. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, no. And it took me 2 hours to make that. I was like, wow, here we go. Back to square one. Yeah.
But they're great moments, aren't they, when that type of thing happens?
Absolutely.
For the viewers, yeah, I was like wanting to cry. I would have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's like the viewers absolutely love it.
Oh, they do. It's great for that moment where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I just did that. That was so much work.
It's happened twice. Definitely.
It's happened twice. What was the other one?
It was like a really basic machine. I made a compressor and I picked up with a normal wrench and it turned back into a block.
Oh.
Without the electric wrench, I was like, oh.
I'm a bit upset because I thought his favourite moment on the server was the maze, but maybe not. So,
I need counselling for that. I need
that was a good little moment. The maze. Enjoyed that. That's actually a great thing. We never talked about that very quickly. One of the server tools is that you can identify where a player logged off and teleport to that exact point, which is very good.
That's an op-only command, by the way, too, for everybody watching.
Command for a reason.
Slowpoke is opt on the server, so he abuses that.
Just once. If you wonder what happened, I spawned in and I was in warded glass that only Slowpoke placed, and there was only one place for me to go, and that was down a chute of about 40 cobwebs at the bottom, and I was in a rat run. Even Ring Wolf stood there watching me. The pain.
Laughing. We're on the outside of the warded glass.
I'm so glad that you figured that out, because after that was all done, Slow, I thought about it, and all those warp commands are in there. You could have just done warp in and got out.
Yeah, I didn't know something. You can do that.
But I'm so glad that you didn't know that at that point. Like, you know, that you had to go through the maze. That's great.
I got my revenge though, because I killed Roomwolf and he had to go back for it because Slow put him in there.
So Room was right at the end of the maze. He died. So as he went in, I put 2 pieces of warded glass just before his maze, so he couldn't actually get to it. He couldn't actually get to the graveyard. But it was so funny.
All that admin abuse. My goodness.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I admit it.
It's very good. So you're still continuing to stream, and I would say this. If we can get you to link your Twitch channel as well, if we can get the permit there. It's Pulp John Fiction here on Twitch. And I'm assuming, are you going to be still doing FTB1 streaming like next week?
Yeah, for sure. I'm addicted. Like Roomwolf said, it's the only pack he plays offline. I've done so much offline stuff. Just doing things like making steel is an offline task that you just have to do. You have to.
So where are you in your progression, Pulp?
I got signed out.
He's doing really well. He's got a lot of infrastructure.
Since I'm going single player and I'm on my own, I don't really get much help from anybody other than a few bits here and there. But just started a bit of Britannia, and I've seen how tough Rune and Slow have been doing this to the last couple of days just to make a mana tablet. So I'm kind of at that stage with Magic. But tech-wise, I'm trying to work down the immersive engineering, and I love that mod. It's so good.
Yeah, I've seen some of the things that you've got built, and it's so good.
A lot of wheels. I can sit and watch them all day long. Yeah,
the conveyor belts there and everything. I mean, I've never used this before.
We just literally made rocket fuel, which is the first dabbles I've had in Ender.io, and I can just sit and stare at that rocket fuel all day. It's beautiful.
The rocket fuel.
Yeah, just to make plastic sheets.
Absolutely amazing. All right, we're going to keep moving on. I'd really like to thank you, Pulpy, for joining us today. Time zone. Thank you for joining us this time zone. It's been amazing.
I'll say I'm thankful for the opportunity, and it's just so much fun. I can't
yes, thank you for helping us test.
It's great to have you on the server.
Yeah,
we've really enjoyed watching you in that. So, especially with you, he's got it for you guys. If you ever get the chance to see him, go and watch him. He's got this brilliant little thing when you raid him, play your cards right live on stream. It's absolutely brilliant. If you get the chance, go and watch him.
Speaking of your stream, we'll give you the props. When was your last winner of Play Your Funks Right, Pulp?
13 raids ago.
13 raids ago. Oh, yeah. There you go.
He's been hacking it. Rune drew a 4 the other day and drew into a 2, and then the next one he drew a 9 and drew into a second 9. Hacks, telling you. Telling you. Yeah, you know exactly what's going on. But huge love. Thank you again, Pulpy.
No worries, guys.
Thank you so much. And next up, we have Quetzy joining us today. Let's see if he's available.
On a side note, I am uploading version 2.0.0 to our repository as we speak. It takes about 30-45 minutes to sync and go out live. So
there you guys go. So we're about 45 minutes away for everybody to have this available.
Yes.
While Quetzy's coming very quickly, I know that some people were asking this before. All of the commands that you're going to see in FTB utilities and the admin commands, we've covered them very briefly today, but Rajasant is working on a video right now that will be on our YouTube channel soon. That's got a much more detailed description of everything that's coming out. So don't worry about that.
Hey, nice shirt.
Hey, Quetzy.
Yeah, got the shirt.
Me too.
Yeah, and Rajasant has one as well. Yep. Lots of showing love today.
Absolutely. Quetzy, welcome. Hope you're having a great day.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem at all. I have different questions for than the other.
Oh, my God.
I do, because you have been very, very much involved with a lot of the recipe changes.
It's not my fault.
No.
I'm just going to say that it's not my fault.
But I will say,
really is.
Yeah, some of them really are. All right, let's talk about the, I think the advanced miner was maybe the first one, because you had one pretty early on.
I did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the advanced miner it's not an easy recipe in IC2 anyway, but with the changes that happened with the quarry and the ender quarry, it was really way too early. So it was like, well, bring some other mods in, and I think I just suggested to T-Fox to put the Buildcraft mining well in, thinking that would be fine, because he beefed up the recipe for the mining well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realise quite how hard he'd beefed the recipe up for the mining well, but it works. So, and I think it's about right. It's about right compared to the other two.
I had personally overlooked the advanced miner when I did all the kind of progression. I had actually honestly completely overlooked the advanced minor, and next thing you know, Quetzal's like, oh, this thing's so powerful. I got it day 3. I'm like, no, we got to nerf that. And
that's the joy of having so many people working.
Yeah, and he's very, very familiar. He's probably the most into IC2 out of anybody on the server, and it was very, very helpful. You know.
What other recipes were you responsible for, Q? Are you gonna own up to him?
I know one that he's responsible for that a lot of people blame me, but he is responsible for the dolly.
The dolly. You even got a T-shirt with the dolly blaming you.
Yep.
And it was entirely T-Fox. It was nothing to do with me.
No.
I know I was yelling about that Dobby.
I wrote the scripts for it, but it wasn't my brain that inspired that.
Okay, you can move all your IC2 machines with it for free. It's too cheap as it was.
I agree, 100%. No, I agree.
And it's not that hard, to be fair. You have to do the sub recipes, but not that hard.
The reinforced wheels are a bit of a pain early on. They are a little bit of a pain.
Some diamonds and obsidian, but yeah, I feel like it's a good balance. I've made
it's great now. I've got one.
It's like your bucket.
I made one when they were easy.
Yeah,
so it's okay.
That's
pretty much my experience with this pack. Is like I play through it and then I just get all the recipes behind where I've been nerfed.
That's
yeah.
So it's like
nerf anything you've already made, like
exactly, yeah. So I make it and then get it nerfed.
You know that MC command that's going to get a lot of use in the near future, and we'll just be taking things away from Quetzi that he made.
No.
At the moment, you obviously have done a lot of the recipe changes that are there. Well, at least suggested recipe changes.
I made quite a few suggestions, and it's actually been really good. Because just actually seeing how much attention is paid to the feedback is fantastic. And I think it's not just my feedback, everybody's feedback. It's like you mention something and then, you can have a new recipe for it in the next hour.
Absolutely.
It's, been a really, really good process to be part of. So
there's no point inviting you onto the server if we're not going to use your knowledge and skills.
Exactly. That's why we're selective with the people that are on FTB1 for sure.
Yeah. And it's been fantastic because I know me and Quetzi and T-Fox and that have spoken, sat down a lot and gone over all the different things and the good things and the bad things and the problem areas and stuff like that. And it's been so helpful to resolve these recipe problems. And like the amount of hours that these guys are putting is insane.
Well, it's a fun pack to play too. Like that's
It is, yeah. I mean, it's one of the very few packs that I've really, really enjoyed playing. Like, if people ask me which is my favorite pack, I always go back to the Insanity map, which is like the very, very first FTP pack. And the reason is much like Slow was saying earlier, you have to build up some infrastructure in order to progress in that map, and that's pretty much what this pack is all about. And it's just, you building stuff. You're not grinding away at things. You're building things.
It is almost like, isn't it, FTB Insanity in an open world? It's a very nice way of looking at it, I suppose. Except you haven't got EE2 to open.
No, you haven't got the hoarding EMC aspect.
And no more FTBBs to breed.
But the cows are happy anyway.
The cows are happy.
How would you say, like, if you're going, as you've been playing through the pack, Q, what would be the moment that you said, I finally got it? What was the thing for you that was like, I finally got this machine, this progression point?
Well, it wasn't actually a machine. It was the first Iridium ore. And that's because I looked at the recipe and I was like, and then I got the recipe changed, and then I made my Iridium.
Wait till these guys see how many gas tiers they're going to need. Yeah.
The first Iridium ore was the recipe was kind of nuts.
Yeah. It's
the next one, the one we've got now, is a lot more reasonable, and I think it fits better with how IC2 is. So it's still a challenge to get those. So actually getting that first one, I think it takes 80 million RF in the assembly table.
Yes.
So it takes more than the Resonant machine frame. It's that was a good feeling to get that. And now I've got a stack and a half or something, so I'm fairly close to getting my AE system the new recipe way.
You're at a stack and a half already, really?
Yeah.
And you're
That's
doing
really
that
cool.
with, once you got your first iridium, you're replicating it with UU matter, correct?
Yeah.
Or yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'm jealous of, I think you got the MOX nuclear reactor going now, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going to build another one. That's too good. Too good.
It's too good. I'm almost converted off of RF power with the nuclear reactors. I really am. Like, I'll just convert it back, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I've got RF-wise is 6 water wheels, I think, and that's it. I haven't got anything else. Everything else is just... I've actually gone deeper into IC2 this time than I usually play, which is saying something. So
It is really kind of weird, isn't it? Because you haven't got that big reactor option anymore. That you change the way you look at power again. It's like another meta game.
I mean, I've never actually played with big reactors, but big reactors in Evolved, you actually need to do IC2 reactors first.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
And I love this. There's going to be a new meta in this. Like, it's going to be so much different from the normal Infinity gameplay.
Yeah.
It's going to create a whole new... It'd be awesome. Like, I can't wait to get to that point.
It started off being called hard mode, but I don't think you can ever really say that it's hard. I think some people might disagree, but I would almost say that this was worth starting out with the expert mode because it does kind of guide you a little bit more through the different mods. So you get to experience more mods by playing expert mode than you would just playing the regular kitchen sink pack. So, you know, I'm probably going to be pushing people towards playing expert just because of that reason, because I don't think I've made a Pete engine from forestry since 1.4.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention exactly that same thing. There's so
And it's like, I started off with bog earth and a Pete engine.
Is there any machine that you've used in expert mode that you've never even touched before?
Witchery. I'd never done really much with witchery, so that was all new. The other stuff I've kind of touched on a little bit, but like I haven't really played a lot with.
Excellent.
So no, there's always new things, and they've added stuff over the years as well.
So you know a lot about IC2 then, because I can tell you right now that I didn't touch half of those machines before this pack. I have not even done it.
And one of the best ones is the electric item sorter. That little block is fantastic.
Really powerful. Very powerful.
Especially early on. And actually, the block cutting machine, I don't think I touched that either.
Which one?
But it's not the IC2 one. The block cutting machine. Cuts the block into 9 plates, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just speeds up plate production.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good because you need to make a lot of plates in this. Like you'll find that out very quickly. Like chests, especially. Yeah, you know, a lot of plates involved in this. Quetzy's also the guy who's responsible for with expert. Like I know it's only a little thing, like, but he's the one who suggested expert mode as the title, which we all liked.
Absolutely. I think it fits perfectly for what this is. That word hard mode kind of makes it sound like, oh, the mobs are going to kill us. Oh, it's hard mode. I'm going to die.
We all hated hard mode. It wasn't right. But I'm actually kind of glad that we did it like that because it now leads us into... It's like a working title and now we have like a proper title. And I kind of prefer that it's been done like this. But yeah, Quetzy's the help that he's been putting into this has been...
priceless. It's been amazing.
Absolutely priceless.
Very, very good.
Absolutely.
It's been really good to just help you guys out, honestly. It's a good process to be part of.
Well,
How much do
hopefully
you feel involved with the pack? Like that
I think I said to Slowpoke last week that when this pack comes out in, half an hour or so,
Yep.
how well it does, I'm almost going to feel like it's a reflection on me, even though it's a T-Fox pack and an FTB pack. It's like, because so much of what I've suggested has ended up in the pack, if people don't like it, it's probably going to be my fault. At least.
No, that's
You
not
can
to be
blame
fair.
Q. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I already see the blame cues in chat. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Quetz, if you want to link your channel, we'd really like to thank you for all of the input. Obviously, that's been a huge benefit to getting the pack all ready to go. But if you can link your channel in chat, it is just Quetzy. There you go.
I will do. Thank you, guys.
Thank
I
you,
will.
Quetzy.
Thank you very much,
I'll
Quetzy.
catch you guys later, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Q, thank you for joining us.
We have a
course.
lot of questions in that document now.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
I know. I got one more guest today. It is the lovely Cletho and Zeldo. Are you two out there? Yeah, also-
Huge hearts for Clefo and Zelda.
Absolutely.
I've actually recruited Zelda to make sure that this gets on Curse just as soon as noon.
It's been great because I've been waking up really
Yeah,
early.
they are.
Clefo's been
Look,
on
they've
Team
got their FTB shirts on too.
Yay!
Awesome.
Love.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We can't hear you guys.
We can't hear them.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Muted.
You are.
Oh no!
Okay,
It's
can
on
you
the
hear
wrong
us?
Yes, we can hear you
Yay!
now. There you are.
Welcome.
Okay. She can't hear you, so
Oh, so
I'm
we
gonna
can
do most
talking,
of the talking.
talking
So you're
old-
going to translate for us, are you?
pretty much.
I can pretty much. We have it up real loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
So guys, you've been dare I say power players slightly.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, I would say
Much.
kind of have.
I just finished making my first clay block yesterday.
I just got time to
Hey,
strike
we
for the
stopped
first
playing for a good 2 weeks to let you guys catch up while I went away.
That is true.
So how was your experience, Ben? As you're going through this, was there those moments where you say, "Really, I have to make that for this"?
Do you want to know like everybody else has been like, oh, I looked at the miner and the recipe was real hard. You know what my really moment was?
Yeah, I would like to
Making
see.
my second resonant energy frame, or whatever they're called, machine frame, okay? So I have like 6 lasers, and it takes a year with 6 lasers. It's probably like 90% done, okay? And she's making something and needs a redstone chipset. Now, mind you, she had never used the table before, and opens up the table and clears out the resonant energy cell, which is fine because you can restart it, remember. Except while clearing it out, she immediately clicked on the redstone chipset and spent about 75 million RF to make a redstone chipset.
That is awesome.
That was my really moment.
Oh, wow.
Have my resonant energy cells building up overnight to store all this power that we need for it, and it's gone in a blink of an eye.
Oh, that is amazing.
It's the most expensive redstone chipset you've ever made, huh?
Tell me about it.
So have you guys got into like the IC2 nuclear reactor stuff and all of that? Like,
Yeah,
what do
we
you-
have 6 nuclear reactors.
Do you?
Wow.
Really? How much are you doing for EU now?
EU wise, let's see, we have
I
probably
can log in and tell you.
2,500.
2,500.
Yeah.
That's really high.
Well, I mean, we need more power.
You need more power.
Yeah.
always. There's
We're
always
switched,
more.
switched over to big reactors now, so the
How
nukes
are you
just kind
finding
of.
that? I think you're probably the first and maybe the only person that has.
Our big reactor produces. It's real low compared to what we normally make. It's only like 25,000 a tick, I think, right now, because it's real expensive. Like
Right,
even
yeah.
just the amount of quartz glass I need is expensive.
And then to go into turbines, all the iridium need is, yeah.
I don't even ever do turbines. The
Yeah.
turbines are so expensive for the output you get on them. It's not really worth it, in my opinion.
I agree 100%.
Been a min-max thing. It always has been a kind of
Yeah,
a min-max
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to get that big reactor up and running?
Big reactor, I just did. Well, we had a small one to start. I had one that had like 3 Eulorium rods to start. It produced like 800 RF a tick, and that's what we ran on for quite a while. But yesterday I expanded it out to 25. So, I mean, we had that one with the 3 Eulorium, and then I built the 6 nuclear reactors because we needed the plutonium. And that's where we got most of our power for a while there.
Absolutely. Plutonium is pretty big.
But I'm sure they're very upset at me because he was pumping his liquid plutonium, and then there's no more. You can't in evolved mode or in expert mode. You cannot get liquid dimlets anymore. So, yeah. So I'm sure they're pretty upset with me on that one.
I think we'll manage.
Did you tell them about them killing the server with all of their dimlets and age creation?
Well, to be fair, this is the first time they've been on FTB 1, and they weren't too aware of the rules, and they made 31 dimensions in RF tools. And
we did not make
no, we
31
didn't.
dimensions.
We made like 3.
I made
That
one.
was not us.
I had one random dimension, and it was a really bad one. It had like lakes of some liquid that made it cost stupid amounts.
Yeah,
so I had to make
yeah.
another random dimension so that we could get dimlets. So that's 2. Plus I made one that was messed up, and then we made 2 more. So it was 5. We made 5 dimensions. And most of them were unloaded.
Between you guys and another person on the server, there was 30.
The other person was me.
Oh, yeah.
It must have been, yeah. But they said they only made 2. So, whoever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, yeah, at the end of the day, you can't control the fluid anymore in RF tool dimension creation. And I also overlooked the dimension builder as a very cheap recipe. And so that's actually pushed behind Draconic Evolution now. So it's extremely...
it's a little expensive.
It's extremely in-game. You need to kill a bunch of Ender Dragons and
Chaos Guardians.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't worry, we've been there. We've done that.
It's extremely expensive now, and it's because that bypassed a lot of gates actually having all that fluid. So I'm glad you guys did that because it made us make things that much better. So that's why we have everybody testing because
Fix the exploits.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of curious because both Clea and Zelda have been around the FTB scene for a long time now. I've known them both for several years, and I'm kind of interested in where do you rate FTB Infinity? Well, first off, which do you prefer, FTB Infinity or FTB Infinity Expert Mode? And then where do you rate Expert Mode as a core, not just 1/7 packs, but just all packs in general? How do you rate it against that?
Okay, you can't really expect us to answer that second question because that's a loaded question.
Yes, I know. Right, so go on the first one then.
The first one is, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how you're feeling that day because expert mode can really frustrate you sometimes when you're trying to get something done and you accidentally break an IC2 machine with a pickaxe and lose it and you got to start over or, versus just a normal day of Minecraft. But I'm having a lot of fun with expert mode.
Yeah, I like expert mode better because we usually, we finish mod packs in a day. So we power through things really quickly.
Yeah.
So having something that's a lot harder is more challenging for us. And
The fact that our big reactor only puts out 25,000 RF a tick right now after a month is insane.
Our last season on Forgecraft, in the first, couple weeks, we had a big reactor that had 20,000 or plus fuel rods.
Yeah.
So our big reactor was massive. So the fact that it's so tiny right now, probably a good indicator of how we're enjoying it.
So do you both plan to continue with it then?
Until we get to the end, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not
Well,
done.
you're not getting to the end, Zelda.
We will.
We will.
We will have the creative energy cell here shortly.
No, that's not the end. The creative mana pool is the end.
Creative mana pool is the end.
Once you get to the creative energy cell, then you're pretty much set.
No.
No.
Look at that recipe again.
For the mana, the creative mana pool.
Zelda.
Yeah, we're not too far away from it.
Well, I understand that, but once you have infinite energy, it helps you progress much quicker.
Zelda,
Not
if you legit, because I know that you will be legit. If you legit make a creative mana pool, yeah, I'll buy you any bottle of any spirit of your choice or Cleeface choice.
We don't drink. Please.
Damn! What can I do? What can we do then? We'll work.
We'll figure something out because we'll be
work
seeing
something
all
out.
them at PAX South in a few months.
Yeah,
So we'll work
if you
something
can do
out.
that.
Okay, wait a minute. When does the server reset? How much time?
We're not resetting it for months.
Oh, well, yeah,
Oh,
that's going to happen. You're going to use your words. I mean,
Yeah.
We'll get you exclusive T-shirts or something like that. We'll sort something out because
I survived
don't think,
Infinity Evolved.
Yeah, I
No,
don't.
because I made the creative mana pool
Yeah.
legitly. That
We don't think it can be done legit. We really don't.
okay, well, I'll look at the recipe and we'll get
Well, yeah, but not in any sort of reasonable period of time.
no.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It'd be amazing.
Well, I mean, it's already been 30 days, so there's not a reasonable period of time that's not already been elapsed.
6 months. 6 months, I would say. If we can get it done in 6
Really?
months.
You're giving us 6 months?
Jesus.
We finish the game 10 times over.
We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I mean that maybe I've been proved wrong.
That's nuts.
They're going to be like, we're going to be handing out these pools. They're going to be like, you want one?
I'd be made up if it could.
You're gonna log in one day, and the spawn is just gonna be creative mana pools everywhere.
Or what's going to happen is Zelda's going to put a creative fucking thermal expansion on the next update.
It's actually interesting, Zelda, because if you do think it could be done, it's one of the things that we're trying to work out if it can be done. It's a competition where you can go into creative mode and build the whole thing, but something that would allow you to make a well, it was originally going to be what the
It needs to be the creative. Was it the creative tank or energy cell? One or the other.
one of those, but autocraft it.
Mm-hmm.
And who can autocraft it in the most creative and fastest time?
It'll be different. Like, you know, looks will have a point value, and we'll have a panel of judges that will judge. And we're thinking about doing something, and we'll have more info on that.
The
in the near
difficulty is
future.
like the Ender Dragon, isn't it? You've got to kill it. Did we
Yeah.
think it was 72 times to make a creative energy cell?
Something along those lines.
Yeah, so it's probably you're talking
yeah.
hundreds of times
Yes.
to make a mana pool.
Chaos Dungeon or Guardians and stuff for the herds.
Yeah,
You need a lot of kills.
it's a lot of work. It's gonna be fun to see if anybody can do that. A legit creative mana pool. We should do a teacher.
Do it now,
I
aren't we?
guys.
You challenged us.
Yeah,
think
oh
so.
god, that's a
Challenge
challenge and a half. Yeah. I'll buy. I can't even get. I
So
can't
I
get
take
buy my
numbers
margarita because they don't drink.
Or server lag from chunk generation if this is gonna be a challenge.
Yeah. We'll take you for a nice meal or something.
There you go. That'll be
Well, you
perfect.
can take me for a nice meal anyway, Slow.
Well, yeah, I suppose that's true.
So I think we have to answer some of these questions, and I know that everybody in chat and everybody out there is really excited to get playing on this. And it's going to be in about 20 minutes. That's the release day.
Yes, and Zelda, the file is sitting under review on Curse right now.
Well, I mean, I'm here talking to you, so it's.
I know. I'm just letting you know. So when you're done,
Everybody's just gonna wait. Like you guys better just cut all the questions out. No questions, otherwise you're just
the
waiting.
release is in the fate of Zelda's hands right now, guys. So if it doesn't come out at noon,
The more questions you guys come up with, the longer it's gonna take.
We didn't say this yet to you two guys, but I think both of these are going to say it as well. Thank you very much for everything you two have done. Like, it's been amazing the help that you guys have put in.
We have a couple hours on the server.
Yeah, just a few.
Couple.
160 hours you've got, Zaldo.
That's a lie. I have more than that.
Well, maybe
we
you do.
didn't
That's
start.
what
We didn't start tracking player time for about the first week. So
Okay.
Oh my god!
Oh.
I have way more time than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
The first
And
week,
Cleve
yeah.
was recorded at 90, I think it was. So,
Yeah, we
Anyway.
have a couple.
should we do some of these questions then?
yes,
Yeah, we definitely got to go through these questions. You guys are welcome to stick around for these questions, by the
We
way.
can help with questions.
Yeah, cool.
All right, we got a lot here that we want to cover. I hope everybody that asked the questions are still out and about. It's not too bad. We can do this, guys. We can do this.
Yeah, we've got time. We've got 20 minutes.
All right, so this one's going to be for T-Fox. It
Okay.
says, how do I update my server?
How do you update your server? It's going to be simple. Once Infinity Involved 2.0.0 is out, there is if you're using FTB Launcher, you just download the server version and update just like you would any other version you would update. There's nothing different as far as updating the server. If you're on Curse, you can go to our website and get the download the server from there as well. Those files will all be there within minutes. And yeah, it's the same. It's the same principle as updating in the past when you updated Infinity. There's nothing different. It's just a new version number, a new mods folder. There's some very important folders that are in the server files that you need to make sure you get over, but it's all there. It's very, very simple.
Where did we put the list of admin commands? Was it on the forums or is it still just on the Dropbox? We got a list of all of them, didn't we?
I don't remember, so I didn't.
I
wasn't
can't remember,
working
but we'll
on that.
find it and
Yeah.
we'll get it on the forums today if it's not on there already.
Absolutely.
Because we've got it all written up already. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we will have to get that on the forums then, for sure.
yeah.
Thaumcraft question. How much, if any, did you change the research/aspect discovery portion?
Okay, so I will say the research portion of Thaumcraft cannot be changed. That is hard-coded into the mod. But the aspect portion. So the discovery of an aspect can't be changed. That's hard coded in the mod. That's the way the mod works. But we have changed like what aspects are needed for items, and infusion recipes are drastically different. Even the small crafting recipes in Thaumcraft are different. So, but as far as the actual research and aspect discovery, that's something that's built into the mod, so we can't change that.
Let me just. Okay, sorry. I'm going to put a link up in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of moving on. Easy way to switch between modes. I think we have covered that. That was like on the beginning. It's just a simple command that you can run, and it doesn't have to be a server restart to do so.
Exactly.
It's pushed
that can be done live.
Thanks, dude.
Server requirements still the same as regular Infinity.
Yes, the actual mod pack is the same with the addition of 3 new mods, which we discussed earlier, and we pulled the aromas mods. So the actual server load, what you're used to with Infinity, the last recommended version, is going to be very, very similar. If not, it might be a little bit better just because mods are getting a little bit more optimized every day.
I'm going to go with it's going to require less. Because of the fact that people can't get large machines out.
If you're playing on expert mode, I agree, because chunk loading is a lot more expensive. Your applied energistic system, which are known for really using a lot of CPU power on servers, those are very in-game now. So if you do play on expert, I would see the longevity of your server being a lot longer. Your world's lasting a lot longer. I can already see that on our FTB 1 server. Our CPU load is very low compared to what it was with normal Infinity a month in. So.
Here's a question. This one will also be for T-Fox. Can I add mods that don't interact with crafting to the mod pack without risk?
I never support adding mods to any of our mod packs, so unfortunately, no.
I'm the same the other way around.
Yep.
Taking away.
If it's a client-side only mod, like a HUD or something along those lines, you're doing it at your own risk. I won't endorse it, but you probably would be safe. But there is one big thing with Infinity. If you're planning on playing expert mode, if you remove any mod, it will break it because there's a lot of cross mod recipes.
Right.
You know, you can't pull buildcraft because then you're not going to be able to advance. So, and if you're planning on playing expert, you cannot get away with moving any mods unless they're client only. Like if you don't want journey map, of course you can disable that on your client. But any gameplay mods, you're going to have to keep in, unfortunately.
I guess so. Here's another question. I guess this is more of along the lines of progression. So, do we need to start with IC2 or with thermal expansion?
Actually, your first kind of machine infrastructure you're going to jump into is going to be forestry. You're going to need the carpenter and thermionic fabricator. Then after that, you're going to quickly jump right into some very basic IC2. Thermal expansion is pushed beyond IC2. So your first ore doubling is probably going to be, well, of course, Tinkers is the smeltery. And I did want to disable ore doubling, but so you guys understand, I could not edit configs because then it affects FTB Infinity normal. So I couldn't touch config. So you can still ore double in the smeltery. It does use a lot more lava than normal. It uses double the amount of lava. You'll notice that your lava goes down a lot faster in the smeltery.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. But your first actual machine ore doubling would be IC2. And then you could then go into thermal expansion, then kind of ender IO, and then all that's explained in the guide, actually, very helpful.
The first thing you're going to want to build, though, is a smeltery. The second thing you're going to build is a coke oven. That's it. The first thing is a smeltery, the second thing is a coke oven.
Actually, I did it the opposite, because you need the coke oven to make a bucket. So and you need a bucket to fill up your smeltery.
You should probably just want to start with multiple coke ovens, because the damn things are so slow.
Yeah, you want lots and lots of coke ovens. I think we had 4 in the end.
Yeah, something along those lines.
And you're going to want to find a way of making a lot of trees, because like you go through a lot of...
There's a wood nerf that can be a little heavy right in the beginning. You really feel it beginning game. It's not really, I wouldn't say grindy, but you really start to feel it when you're making chests and barrels. You're like, man, I'm really going through wood a lot more than you're used to. So one of the very first, which is something I will say I've never done before, the first thermal expansion machine I made was a sawmill. That's the first thing I made because that's how you get more planks. And any of the premium woods, non-vanilla woods, you can't even shapeless craft to get planks. You have to run it through a sawmill. And I love a couple of the Natura woods to make like flooring in my base. Only way I could get the planks was to run it through a sawmill. So that was the first time ever in thermal expansion, the first machine I ever made was a sawmill. So that was kind of neat.
Circle, we're going to talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
So go on. No, Circle was just asking something. We're going to talk about it. It's a question coming up, so...
Okay, very good. Let's see. What is the biggest thing that has changed?
The biggest thing that has changed is obviously the progression. That's the biggest thing. Simple as that. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and cover recipes. You guys will be able to have fun in NEI in 15 minutes. But yeah, the biggest thing is definitely progression. It was all.
I would kind of say FTB utilities, to be honest.
I would say utilities.
Well, if you consider, well, I'm talking about evolved, not as a mod. You know, like I'm talking about the gameplay changes. FTB utilities doesn't change your gameplay. But if you talk about like, as far as a mod, yeah, that's changed a lot, and that's going to be as soon as we start rolling out updates to our other mod packs in 1.710, FTB utilities will be included in them. Eventually, it'll be across all of our 1.7 packs, and we also have plans when we start working with the next iteration of Minecraft. FTB utilities will come with it.
Yeah.
It's a mod that we will never not include anymore, to be perfectly honest.
No, it's gonna be one of those.
That's why it's called utilities. It's going to be a staple. It's going to be like NEI. You know, it's going to be in every single one of our packs.
Absolutely. Was the one going into FTB utilities mod in more detail. I think the things that we're talking about for the commands, we were going to be putting that up on the forums for all the commands. We'll be doing a forum post for that.
Yes. Yeah.
Another question coming in of what are the end game creative items?
We've got the creative energy cells craftable. That's probably the first tier of creative items that you can craft. It's extremely expensive, extremely hard to get to, and I will tell you, the items that you need to craft it will output more power on their own. So you're not doing it for the power. It takes 9 ultimate or quantum hybrids, which if you do the math and convert to EU, or convert to RF, it's over 300,000 RF. The creative energy cell puts out 100,000 RF. So you can actually get more power from the items needed. It's more of just a trophy. It's bragging rights.
That's not true. You can put Tesseracts on every side.
You can. Yeah, you can, but not by much difference. But it's more of a bragging right thing than it is to actually use for power. I'm sure, it's great to get for power.
I think even if you put Tesseract on every side, it's still less.
It's 600,000 if you put a Tesseract on each side, because it's 100,000 per side.
Yeah.
But either way.
And Tesseracts move infinite amount of power.
Yeah. But either way, the next big thing is a tank, which is extremely expensive.
The portable tank.
The portable creative tank. That actually requires 4 creative energy cells amongst a ton of other expensive materials. But that's a very powerful thing. You can put a bucket of UU. Actually, I don't think you can put UU in those anymore. But you can put like a bucket of Yellorium in it, and you can have infinite liquid Yellorium for power.
That you can't put UU in it?
UU is actually the mod updated a few weeks ago, and UU cannot be placed in buckets anymore. So you can't put them in creative energy tanks, as far as I know.
You could just put a creative energy tank on top of a... whatever.
Well, right, no, but there's no way to get the UU matter into the tank. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell
put
the creative
right
tank.
on top of the mass fab and push it into it. The mass
Oh
fab
yeah, then it picks up the one. There you go.
Yeah,
There you go. So it can be done. But I find that a lot more powerful than power. So that's why
it's not going to be a thing.
Right, it's not a thing. It's a bragging right. And then the third creative item, which is extremely difficult, is the mana pool, the creative mana pool, which doesn't have that many advantages, but it's really just a trophy. But that requires an insane infusion crafting from Thaumcraft with a creative energy cell. So it's insane. You guys can look at the recipe in NEI. It's really neat. But yeah, that gives you a creative mana pool from Botania, which doesn't really have much of a use by that point in the game. But it's one of those bragging rights. You can, on your server with your friends, you can say, "Hey guys, I made the most expensive item in Infinity Involved," and we may do some more neat creative items, kind of similar to that. And it's simply there for in-game goals.
Having said that, based on what Zelda said, 6 weeks down the line, we may find out these things are dead easy to make, and may have to.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a work in progress. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, guys. So
if servers suddenly filled with creative energy cells and creative lava tanks, we'll be like, yeah.
All right, so we got 9 minutes left, so that covers that question.
We're kind of like doing this really good timing, aren't we?
Yeah, we're doing really well.
All right, so let's keep on moving on with the questions. If explosions are disabled, do those events still deal AoE damage to mobs and player entities?
The explosions, no, they will not. They're completely they don't even happen. They just disappear. So you can stand next to TNT, it'll disappear. It will not affect you or the train. But the server can easily, by default, you cannot disable that feature. Like the server will make it where players cannot turn off explosions by default. So as a server owner, if you want to allow the ability for people to be able to disable explosions, you have to set that value to true. So then they can do it. So don't worry about players being able to turn off explosions by default. They can't. So
very good. Is it possible to do an admin-based claim protection for buildings like Spawn?
Spawn, it comes pre-protected. I think like about an 18 or 25 chunk area comes pre-protected, which is basically admins can only do stuff in that, but you can override that very easily and have players do it. But there will be in the future an ability to expand the area and have admin claims, but that is not in right now.
The ability to config that at the moment, because that is actually the next one.
Yes, you can actually disable spawn claim server side if you don't want it there, and even single player world. Also, as an admin, you can have a different amount of chunks that you're allowed to claim versus players. I think by default it's 1,000 for admins, 500 by players, but you could put that up to like 20,000 if you want for admins, and if they don't mind their name being on it, they can protect as much as they want. So for right now, it's a temporary workaround.
Yeah, I know we've got stick around, guys. We've still got a little bit more questions to answer, but for those that don't want to stick around, I believe the pack is actually live.
Yeah, we're up to 750 people in this stream. That's insane.
Yeah, apparently we've just had it confirmed that the pack is now live if you want to go and play it. But we've got a few more questions to answer. So stick around.
Isn't Zelda sitting here that's doing the docket for the approval?
I think some people are saying they can get it. Oh, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Curse client fails on the install at the moment, apparently. So we'll stay on like.
Okay, well, I'm not. I can't
okay, let's keep on moving down to the list. I think if a lot of people are going to be like, I can get it now. Oh my god, I'm going to go play. Will the server files be available at launch, and where will you post the download links?
Server files are already available actually on the FTB launcher. They are not available on Curse right now because I have to manually upload the server files, which I'll do as soon as the stream is done.
Sweet.
And it's just a zip, just like before.
Is there a config option to disable chunk claims for servers using other chunk protection options?
Yes, you can completely anything the FTB utility adds, you can completely disable. If you don't want to have chunk claiming, you simply set it to false, and that option won't even be available on your server.
And can you adjust the amount of claim chunks available?
Yes, by default it's 500 for players, 1,000 for ops. You can set whatever amount you want.
All in the config file.
All in the config file. Or in
we've
game.
We've made this config as open as we possibly can. Like,
you can either do it text-based on the back end, or you can do it live in game as an admin. Up to you.
We want the server admins to have this is a tool that we're making it as easy as possible for these guys to use. So.
Yep.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, a few questions coming in here. Will there be a server info entity that will let you also remove mobs? Like someone sets up a villager spawner and you have 10,000 villagers in a single chunk.
Right now that option is not there, but I will tell you that CoffCore adds it and it's brilliant. I would just suggest using CoffCore. It's a very simple command to type as a server owner. You type /COFH, remove all and the name of the mob, and it's done. It's gone. We use it. We had some issues with a few mobs early that has now been since fixed, and I used it quite a few times to remove phantoms, for example, from the server when we had some issues with them.
And for those that don't know, all these commands, like I know a lot of people don't know all these commands, we're going to be adding part of the guide, all of these different commands into the guide at some point soon. Yes. So, and it's not just our commands, it will be any command available, and explanation of what those commands do.
Yeah, I don't have it on my Curse, by the way, yet. So I think people haven't. The image is updated, but not the actual version. So that's why people are probably not getting to load. So give it a few more minutes. True. Yeah.
Officially, it's like 5 minutes till release.
Yeah, it takes about 20 minutes when those guys over at CurseForge like Zelda approve one of our packs. It does take about 20 minutes to get fully from their approval process onto the client that you guys are using. The image I see has updated, but like I said, 2.0.0 isn't there yet, so that's why you're having issues. But give it about 5-10 more minutes, you'll be good to go. So.
Okay, I want to get through all of the rest of the questions here. We got quite a few backing up.
Yeah.
What was the philosophy on a cross mod requirement? Like when you make a pick, say Ender.io parts of machines over, say thermal expansion or forestry ones. That's one for you, T-Fox, for sure.
Okay, what I kind of missed the very first part of that because I was reading.
What was the philosophy on?
Basically, I wanted to. It wasn't like I want to force you into every mod in the game, but I wanted to have some of the mods that nobody ever really uses kind of be played a little bit, and I don't make you go deep into other mods at all. Like IC2, I make you touch it, but you don't have to go very deep if you don't want to. If you want to do some of the more advanced in-game stuff, you're going to have to go pretty deep into it. But just to get to thermal expansion, you don't go deep at all. Very basic IC2 machines. Same thing to go into Ender IO. Very basic thermal expansion stuff. Then you can get into Ender IO along those lines. But I wanted to have, as a player, I wanted you to have to set up an infrastructure like we discussed earlier. You know, not an infrastructure that will go unused, but an infrastructure that you will then fall back onto to advance every time. Like that simple thermionic fabricator you make in your first day, you're going to fall back on that once you get to applied energistics. You know, you're going to constantly always use those machines you make, which is really neat. It's just machines that people don't ever use, and I wanted you to have a nice sense of progression, and the only way to really do that is to tie the mods together.
Very quickly, because I've just had the message now. For those of you that are looking to get a server, I've just been told that Creeper Host have already got it available now,
awesome.
Which means I imagine that other companies will get it soonish. And the server files must be available for you guys to get. So it's available now on Creeper Host. I imagine it will be available elsewhere soonish. And you can go make your own server now, so that's cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Player expert mode, can you be set by player, or is it like server wide?
It is server wide, and it's only can be executed by a server operator, either via console or in game. And once the server is put into expert mode, every player on that server is forced to play in expert mode. You cannot override it. It's not your decision. The client automatically converts to the mode the server's on upon login, and your recipes will reflect what the server is on, and you cannot craft stuff normally. There's no way to override that. There's no way around it. We have tested that a lot, and as a player, you're forced to play on what the server's set to.
Okay, we have another one here. That is there a suggested progression map like HQM?
Yes, the guide that Raj and Moxie wrote it doesn't go too much in detail because we wanted to leave there's a lot of different roadmaps you can take, but the main roadmap is documented in that guide to give you some tips, some tricks, some advice to help you out. It's not
get you stuck.
Yeah, it's not HQM as in like you have to make this to go on. You know, it's not like that. It's just information, but it's very well documented, and it's an evolving guide. It's just the very first iteration that they've pushed out, and there'll be more stuff added to it along the lines, and but it does help you out tremendously the first few days, and then it's
just enough to get you. It's a getting started guide, nothing more than that.
Yeah,
imagine more guides coming in the future, but right now there's
and then after that, NEI is strictly your best friend.
For Minecraft noobs, how will they fare in expert mode? Just a lot of time or rage quit after a creeper?
Well, I mean, the creepers are no more difficult in expert mode than they are in normal. It's just a little bit harder to defend yourself in expert mode, really, is the only difference there.
Until they blow up your first metal former, then they're...
Yeah, well, light up your base and live in a cave or something, But, yeah, it's... For anybody that doesn't understand modded Minecraft, almost, it's not really as far as... It's not really any harder than normal mode. Even the recipes, like I say, expert. You don't have to be an expert to play, but it might be a good way to learn the mods because it kind of shows you a lot of the mods. I don't know. That'd be a hard one to answer.
That's what Quetzy was saying earlier. He kind of feels like it might be better to start in expert mode.
Yeah.
Because that gives you a good kind of like overview of all of the mods. Mm-hmm. And you can't just focus on... Like in normal mode, a lot of people focus on one or two mods at the expense of the other mods. And they're always saying, I don't like this mod, I don't like that mod. But that's because they're used to playing thermal expansion, or they're used to playing Formcraft. They don't look like IC2 has changed a lot over the last 12 months, and so are some of these other mods.
I personally find it rewarding, and I honestly found machines that I'm going to now use in my normal playthroughs.
The Rock Crusher is one we've all said, we never saw the value of the Rock Crusher until...
Perfect timing, I must say. 2.0.0 just became available on my Curse voice client. And
there you go.
It's noon on the dot.
So. Do you want to get to the questions? Because if you've...
let's... I've got about 5-10 more minutes, and then I actually have to head down to the Curse offices in Irvine today to do some work.
So. We did talk about where the wiki information will be. We're going to be doing that on a forum post that will be available very shortly for all the commands for FTB utilities. Mistcraft in the pack, where does it sit in hard mode?
Mistcraft in the pack, honestly, in expert mode, Mistcraft age creation is disabled. The whole in expert mode, it's not a server choice. I completely got rid of it because it's very overpowered compared to RF tools. But linking books can be made if you want to link, but the ink mixer, which is required, is quite expensive. So it's very you're better off using other mods teleportation methods in the beginning for sure.
Very good. Are you gated behind tech, or is there a magic route you can take?
We're funny story, guys. I'm just going to share something. We're putting CDNs at full load on Curse, so you're going to get a lot of server installation fails right now. We're at 99% on a CDN on Evolved right now, so just bear with it. The loads are really heavy for updating.
One thing to mention.
Is it getting hit that hard?
Yeah, it's getting hit really hard. Like, I keep getting installation errors because it can't download the zips because the servers are at max capacity.
Kind of a good problem. But
so kind of just bear with it, guys. If you can't download it right now, wait 30 minutes and hopefully you can. I'll stay on top of it and keep you guys posted on the FTB Twitter. But yeah,
I'm going to tweet out now.
Yeah, we're on heavy
For all
loads.
those that are having trouble getting to expert mode, that it looks like the same Infinity, it is FTB FTBU underscore. No, it's admin set, isn't it? Hold on,
what are we talking about? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Setting into expert mode.
Setting into expert mode, all you do is /FTB_mode, and then you can type list, and it'll give you the list of the current modes. Right now, they're just normal and expert. So if you want to go into expert, /FTB_mode, set expert. And you can tab complete all that stuff as well, and that is in the description of the mod pack. If you just simply look in the description on the FTB launcher or Curse, it gives you those commands right in the description, so really easy to remember.
There you go. Okay, here we go. We did the magic and tech route. You can take those routes separately. Did we discuss that?
Yeah, they're meant to be. They're specifically designed. Although it helps you out if you do cross tech and magic, there's no requirement to do so. You can play pure magic, and we've tested this, or you can play pure tech. You don't need to.
That's not true. You can't play pure tech. Once you get to Draconic Evolution, you have to have...
All right, well, that's...
Hey, dude, we just
Well,
released
like
Infinity Evolved, so that's why we're getting all the server loads.
All right, we'll keep on moving on.
If you're at that point, you're kind of like behind the whole thing, aren't you? It's not really...
That's
You could play pure. You could play pure tech. You don't need to do that part, though, do you? Like, to get that further.
Well, if you want to get finished with tech, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
Yeah, we're getting an insane amount of downloads right now, actually. Like,
Is that what they've just said, yeah?
Mm.
In regards to disabling add-ons, was there any reason why we would be unable to disable Mistcraft?
Yes, anything as a server owner or even a player, I purposely, when I wrote all the scripts, I was very organized with it. Every script or every mod that I change is in the script file to .zs, which can be read with a text editor. If you don't understand Minesweeper, I don't suggest touching it, but if you do, I commented out every change I made. So just look for the comment that says where I disabled the bookbinder, and you can just delete the script. I won't.
We're getting a lot of people asking this. Where are the configs on the server? What folder? Because aren't they in a different folder?
Configs for what?
For FTB utilities.
It's under local in the root.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people asking.
Yes, it's under local in the root. And when Radcent does the videos, all that will be covered. It's just.
Is it on the server? Is it the same on the server as well? It's in local.
Same on the server as well. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. For all the server owners, we'll have that covered. How many mods are in the mod pack? Same as Infinity.
Same as Infinity, -2 + 3.
-2 + 3.
Yeah. So one more. We lost Aroma's core and Aroma's backup, and we replaced it with FTB lib, FTB utilities, and then we have FTB tweaks, which allows the game modes. And we lost Infinity Bows by Marathi because Ender Core now adds the ability without the need of an extra mod, so there was no need. It was just redundant, so I got rid of it.
Gotcha. Do you have to update your current FTB Infinity mod pack or reinstall?
You can just update. Just update. It's just the new version, number 2.0.0. And bear with it right now. I know there's a lot of issues downloading it. A lot of people are downloading, and the servers are really hitting capacity.
You can all see the panic mode starting to happen in like all of everybody's faces.
Yeah, because we've never had this problem before, honestly.
I'm
not complaining. It's a great problem to have.
No, it's a great problem.
But yeah, we're on. I will say that Curse uses very high-end CDN servers, so to bring those to their knees is pretty impressive.
Especially like right on the dot.
Yeah,
I know.
It's kind of weird.
There is an auto backup system. Leave the week. It's set by default at 2 hours. The same as Aroma's.
Has Brian contacted you?
Yeah, it's fine. It's leveling out now.
Oh, right, okay. It's moving out now, is it? Right. So we should a few more minutes, guys.
Yeah, because I think Cloudflare. I don't understand all the terms, but it does have auto leveling. It's supposed to work, and it obviously wasn't working very well. But now it seems to be leveling out. So.
Welcome to Cloudflare.
Yeah, exactly. So it seems that we're getting better.
There's been the question. I don't know if we've tested this one. Looks like we actually just covered a whole bunch of the backup questions that are coming in now too. But disabling explosions within a claim chunk, wither damage.
I am not sure. That's something we did not test. No. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go. I don't know if it disables all explosions. To be honest, we will have to do some more testing on that, and we'll decide if that's something that we think should be disabled or not. I kind of think it should be. Like, if you disable explosions, I would think any type of entity block damage should be disabled, but I don't. The wither doesn't really explode, so I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
It causes explosions. And
yeah.
At the end of the day, if you've picked that you don't want explosions, then you're not going to get explosions. That's it.
Right.
It's kind of something that me and T-Fox have slight disagreements on, but...
Yeah, I hate it. Like, on our server, I'm like, if you get rid of explosions, you're completely defeating the purpose of a creeper. Like, I think it's fun to have that challenge where these guys don't know how to build proper bases and they live outside, and then they get mad at me. They get mad at me when their creeper explodes. I'm like, just light up your base, put a fence around it, and stop complaining. We are playing expert mode, like, come on now.
Yes, exactly. We're playing expert mode, not hard mode.
But anyway, yeah, it's as a server, you can completely make an option where your players can't use that feature.
I kind of agree on T-Fox on this one.
And on our server, we have it where players can't override that. So
it's not any harder. It's a creeper. It's in vanilla. The thing will walk up to you and blow up and kill you.
By the way, I'm trying to upload the server version to Curse right now, but bear with me, it's very, very slow right now. I'm trying to get them up. I
think this is a pretty good wrapping up point, guys.
Yeah, very quickly. I know people have kept asking this over and over and over again. If you don't know how to change to expert mode, when you first go into the world, once you've updated and open up your inventory, there's a book to the left-hand side, of your main grid. Click on the book; it will open up the guide in normal mode. Inside that guide, you will find everything you need to switch over to expert mode.
Tells you the command right there in the book. Yes. Yeah.
Very simple. And use the same command to switch backwards again. I think we're done, aren't we?
I think we got most of all the stuff.
Yeah.
This has been a lot of information going out today, guys.
Yeah, this was a crazy stream. It's over 2 hours. It's really good. And just to let you guys know, yes, I was about to say that. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to start the upload process. Radicent will be around. Like I said, I have to head down to Curse to do some work, so I'm not going to be here, but I'm going to press the upload button. Once Radicent sees that's available on YouTube, he'll go in and make it public for all you guys. So
absolutely. So, guys, Clee and Zelda, thank you guys very much for being on the show and giving us your awesome feedback and the cuteness. Yes.
I hope everybody enjoys the pack. I really do.
Yes, me too. I hope so as well. I really hope so.
And even if you're just playing on Infinity, you've still got FTB utilities, which for a lot of us is like a huge deal. So, and I think your server owners are going to really be thankful for that mod and what we've got coming. So.
Yeah, and in about 5 or 10 more minutes, the server files should be available on Curse, by the way. So Zelda should see them coming through any minute.
The next thing we're going to work towards is the creative mana.
I want to see it, man. That'd be awesome.
And keep an eye out on Twitch TV. There's plenty of people who are streaming this all the time, like Clefo, Zelda, Rajson, myself, Rune Wolf, Pub John Fiction, Quetzy, T-Fox has been doing a little bit here and there. So, and I'm sure now it sounds like there's going to be plenty more people that are streaming as well.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I just want to thank everybody too, for just every time you play Infinity, it helps us out. Keeps us motivated to keep updating it, and making it better each time, and I think that's what we've done with Evolved. We've completely added a whole new system to the mod pack, which, you know, will hopefully refresh it for a lot of players that 8 months ago they finished and now they want to give it a go and have more of a challenge. I think it'll be great, and the more you guys give us feedback, the better. It's great community.
This isn't the end of FTB Infinity Evolved, it's day one.
Yeah.
We have so many more things planned.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Slowpokes. Thank you, T-Fox. Thank you all the guests that have been here. Zutto and Clutha that you are here. And thanks everybody out there in Twitch land for joining us tonight. I hope this was a very enlightening adventure for everybody. So that was, it's very good. So I guess with that, we'll say goodbye and enjoy Expert Mode, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.